Press 1 if you can hear me, please. Press 1, mic check. If you can hear me.
Okay, yes, 1.
Mic check, mic check, mic check.
1.
Okay, good. We got Maya can hear me. Okay, good. We have a stranger. Nasha Champ. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Always some technical difficulties before the pod class begins. Strangely. Always something strange. But that's okay. Okay, peace to everyone in the chat. Greetings. This is Ka, one of my goddesses' serpents. This is a cinnamon albino. And he says, peace to the room. Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Tahuti Pod class. My name, for those who just came for the very first time, let me adjust this. My name is Tahuti Amunhotep Ra. I am a teacher who has been teaching for a little over almost 30 years now, maybe 20 something. I've lost track. I teach spirituality. I teach root source origins that go back to the Nile Valley, that go back to Sumer, that go back to ancient cultures that predate the invasion of Alexander the Greek, who was called Alexander the Great. I break down religious origins, contradictions, mistakes. Basically, I'm here to break the matrix in whatever form that it may come in. So, I teach about the roots of languages, basically many questions that people can ask me. A lot of people know me from in this new internet world from debating. I was a person who came in strongly debating recently. I've been around teaching though since around 94. I was invited to be interviewed on a particular group, and the champion of that group ended up challenging me. I won. I ended up becoming the champion of that particular group called the Lion's Den at that time, about 2 years ago. And then people kept challenging me since, which is why there's so much videos of me online debating. Not that I ever wanted to come on to debate, but people kept challenging me, and that's why you see those kind of videos. Other than that, you can come here every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, where you can get the teachings. And here is how that started for all those new people. Because I've been teaching for so many years, I've accumulated a lot of students and a lot of people that want to know what I teach, and they want one-on-ones with me. So what I did is I tried to do the one-on-ones, and it took up too much time. The one-on-ones took up much too much time, and people were willing to pay for the classes, which I appreciate. That's reciprocity. But there were 1 hour, 2 hour classes, and 50 to 75 people, 30 people trying to contact me per day, my message box being full. I would not have time for my family. So I told everyone I will be opening up a public open pod class where everyone can come into the room And instead of everyone individually paying for individual classes, all I ask is for support, reciprocity for the time and effort that I put in, and I will post questions based on what people send in with the information. Let me just show it here before I go on. Okay. So let me put the banners up just so everybody can be familiar with how we work here in the pod class. And there's the information at the bottom. And actually, let me put the full information there. So YouTube has removed my ability to do super chats. Like many channels that you may see, people are able to support by doing super chats, where they send in a super chat. It pops up on the screen, bling, and then on the Killer Priest podcast, we would read it, and then I'd be asked to answer. YouTube gave me the ability and then took it away within 7 days after checking my content. So now I do not have the ability to do the super chat. So I have to manually now take your questions based on the Cash Apps and the PayPals that I see during the classes and manually put them on the screen and create my own super chat. And that is how everyone supports the Tahuti pod class as I'm teaching, and your question will pop up on the screen, or at least your donation will pop up. You can feel free to also, if you feel that my teachings and my time is worth it, to send a donation without a question, but definitely the questions that are asked with a donation will be put on the screen and I will answer them. And that's what takes up the time of the pod class, and that is the best solution that I've came up for a reciprocal connection with my students and with people that want to ask questions without taking up 30 hours of my day. And also being social, so now everybody could participate. So welcome everybody to the pod class. Donations have actually already been sent in. Some to begin off, I already have a question to answer from Godmind. And I believe Steven has already sent in. I'll be putting that up on the board. But let me check the room for a moment and just greet everybody in. This is what I do. I always greet everyone. So we have, let's greet in Big Vapes. Peace to Big Vapes. Peace, brother or sister. Peace to you. We have Maya Khalees. Peace to you. Maya Khalees. Ka says peace. Greetings and welcome to the room. I'm not too familiar with your name. We welcome everybody though. Peace and love. Peace and love to Horizon of Zion. Oh, it rhymes. Nice. Horizon of Zion. Wonderful. Sounds like a nice reggae song. Okay. Peace to you. Horizon of Zion. Nick Reed, one of the most dedicated, who constantly sends in support with Cash App questions, PayPal, actually with PayPal. Peace to you. Nick Reed always sends in support and great questions. And we have who I know from the Killer Priest podcast, Jody. Peace to Jody, who used to be one of the moderators on the Killer Priest podcast. And I've been talking with her ever since. Peace to you. Peace and love. We have an interesting name. Oh, of course, I and I self, Lord and Masterer. There's a few people with a name similar to this. I don't know if it's the same person with different versions of their name, but this one is I and I, self, Lord and Master. Peace to you, I and I. And of course, the person who we're going to have to begin off the class, who sent in, already sent in a question. I'm going to begin off with is God Mind, who constantly sends in support and questions every class. Peace to you. Freedom. Renaissance. Peace to you. Freedom Renaissance. We have David Johnson. We have Stranger. Peace to you, Stranger. A lot of people in the room. We have another constant supporter, Nyasha Champ. Nyasha Champ Ka says peace to you, Nyasha Champ. Greetings. Nyasha Champ is always in the class, always also coming to the Killer Priest show. For those new people too, you can find me also some Mondays. I used to be there consistently, but there's a lot of what is it called? There's a lot of people now circulating. So you'll see me there every odd time, and I'll definitely send out a notification on the days that I am in. Peace to you. We have Buck, Ben Frank, been missing your knowledge, my brother, on the Killer Priest podcast. I know. We have Buck the President. Peace to you. We have so many people in the room. It's actually impossible for me to go through everybody because the numbers keep going up. We have Shannon, who's also a regular. Peace, Shannon. We have Netter over here. We have, and remember, send your questions in, everybody. I'm actually going to put up my Gmail so I get a notification when the questions come in. Okay, I'm already seeing questions come in. I already have 4 questions. 3, 1, 2, 3, and from the last time, 4 in. Beautiful. I will look at them all and put them on the board. We have Marion. We have so many people here. Marion, peace. Of course, J. Rue, a consistent. Marion's a consistent too. Okay, and I'm going to start introducing the moderators. We have Donkey, though. We have Donkey, peace. We have Ahati, who I'm actually trying to make a moderator, but YouTube would not let me. We have everybody here. We got, and I'm going to introduce, we got Tony Sotomayor, Peace Saba. We got a bunch of people here. Everybody here, a lot of new people here. We got Stax Jenkins, WS Banker. A lot of people in the room. Okay, we are going to stop it right. Oh, Fibonacci, of course. Where are you? I see Fibonacci. Is this him? God Fibonacci said he sent a question. I'll have to look and see which one. I'm trying to catch up with the amount of questions that were sent. Cash World Cast Cost the Word from Norwegian. Okay, good. That is enough for the introductions for now. Okay. And Fibonacci, I will look and see. He said he sent it into the Fibonacci. If you could in the room, type what your Cash App name or PayPal name was. I'll look it up and see that, and we'll put it in order because there's so many people sending questions. Sometimes the name on the board doesn't match the name on the Cash App, and I have to go back and look. But right now, I'd like to introduce some very important people. Very important people to the room that all of you, let me see, wow, there's so many people. Very important people to the room here, and these are what regular rooms would call the moderators. Regular groups would call these the moderators, but thanks to a good brother named Stranger, we don't just have the moderators, we have the moderators. These are the moderators. Okay, if everybody can see the screen there, I'm actually going to take off the banner from the bottom so everybody can see the screen here. There they are. These are the moderators. Look on the screen and you will see them by their name. These are the names you look for in the room. And these are the people that will help you with the basic... Oh, nice. Hold on here. These are the people that will help you with the basic questions. These are the people that will post the links in the room. These are the people that you can ask questions. You can take... These people you can ask questions to. As far as if any sound issues, they will contact me. And these are the people that will control the room if the room gets really crazy. These are the moderators, if everybody can see them. So we have shout out to Enki and Ma'at. Shout out to Nani Aset Mur. And shout out to Saneti Amun. And the next moderator will be Ahati Ma'at, but YouTube would not let me add him as a moderator. So hopefully I can sort that out. Hopefully I can sort that out, and his name will be up there as of next week. Okay, you saw that on the screen?
I see.
Okay, those are the moderators. Thanks to Stranger for creating that. Moderators. Okay, wonderful. Okay. All right, so boom, 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 and we are all about ancestral artifacts over religious opinions. Ancestral artifacts over religious opinions. That is what we focus on. And the questions that will be sent and answered will not be based on. You will never hear me in an answer say, I think, what I think of that, all these terms that deal with opinions, which everybody has one. We don't do that here. I will never tell you, I think. I will give you the answer based on what you can research, and you and I will have access to the same information, because once you deal with a person that's answering questions based on what they think, that means you have to depend on their thoughts in order to get an answer. And information that is being asked about existed before we had thoughts. Before I had a thought, the Bible was tampered with. The Bible was created. Before I had a thought, Moderator existed. Before I had a thought, the ancient Sugagi were called Sumerians by Europeans. Before I had a thought, all of these things existed before I was born, so therefore my thought is not relevant in the answer. That is removing your ego from the answer. Okay, let us get into it, everybody. We're about to get started. That is the PayPal, that is the Cash App. We already have some coming in. We have some from before, and the first one in, let me go to it and see. Okay, let's see here. The first one is God Mind. God Mind, that is from the last class. Let's see here. Let's get right into it. Okay, February 11th. Let me see. February 11th, God Mind, who is also, is it Malcolm? Okay. So I have to do all of this manually, my good people. All of this manually. I don't have the engineer AD. It is all me. I'm the light man. I'm the engineer. I'm the teacher. Okay, here we go. Boom. Okay, I see it. Malcolm Mason. Okay. I see it now. Here we go. We're going to go here. Add this. Go to, that's February 4th. We don't want February 4th. We want February 11th today. And let me manually do this. February 11th. And the first one in is, boom, let me put this on the screen. Shout out to God Mind, Malcolm Mason, for his donation through the Cash App. Peace and love to you, and I respect it. The thing is very large. It's not actually showing the bottom of what was donated, but the rest of them will be regular size. But shout out to everyone here, and shout out to Steve. Steve, who asked a question, actually sent in right when the class ended. A brother Steve sent in like $50, right as soon as the class boom ended, and he had a question about Ptah. I don't know if he's in the room. So many questions that come in here, but God Mind's question was, let me see if God Mind is in the room. Brother God, oh, this brother right here. I just want to give a shout out because this man or woman, I think it's a brother, he or she is at every single class and does support. Peace to you. Had to give a shout out, and of course shout out to Ahati who is responsible for everybody knowing me, because I was Ahati's personal teacher, and he convinced me to come back onto the internet to teach the masses, because he was sick and tired of the people he saw on other channels and not giving information, but just mainly based on drama. And he said, you need to get out there. You have all this information, teach. So I also want to clarify that this channel will have no drama. I have no beef with anybody. I have nothing to say negative about any other YouTube channel, any other black man or woman, any other person individually. It's all about the information, which is very hard to do, to have a whole show just on information, not about what you dislike or who you want to speak against or who you want to battle or who you all that. No, how about just information? So the vibe here is information. No drama here. If anybody has any issue with the information, they are actually free to come up and state something and discuss and ask me a question on it, and we can converse, and it will never get personal. I never get personal with anybody. This is about the knowledge. We only have one life here in the physical unless we reincarnate, and there's no time for the bickering and the strangeness. Let me get some agua. I drink 2 of these a day. Okay, peace to Ahati. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And let's get to it. Let's get to it. We only have about 2 hours, and we're going to get right to it. So, Godmind, are you here in the room? Yes, peace, Godmind. I believe your question was, it's not showing on the screen there. It's too big, but I believe the question was, what started the gender wars with black men and black women? Something to that effect. How did the gender battles begin between black men and black women? Okay, I believe that was what your question was. If you want to type it in the room, that's fine too, but I'm going to go, and I told you that was one of my favorite topics. I'm going to go ahead and get into that topic, my good brother. Everybody get your pen and pads out. We're going to watch, listen, and we're going to think. Let's think. Let's unravel some things. Let's unravel the matrix. Okay. Okay. So let's Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's get into it. We're gonna Okay. Let's get into it here. Okay, whoop. Wrong button, so let's go. All right, we're going to share screen here. Okay, wonderful. Let's get into it. So the gender issue, the gender situation, we're going to start off like this. First off, we're going to get into the word lynching, because here's where it starts to begin. As far as how does the black woman see the black man? And how did it change? How did we go from seeing ourselves as Asar, Mentuhotep, Shango, certain kings and rulers, into now there is bickering, arguments, relationships not lasting, hatred, battles between men and women. How do we go to that? Why was there no gender battle along the Nile Valley? Why was there no gender? Why was there no focus on sex wars in ancient times when things were more undiluted with? So we'll go to lynching, because this is whereabouts we're going to begin at. So when you think of lynching, what gender do you think of? I'm going to put this on the screen right here. So right off the bat, when you think of the word lynching, we look up on Google and just type in lynching. When you type in lynching, you know what you see? You see men, mostly men hanging, men with their scrotums cut off, men on fire. The majority of the lynching images that you see are men, and there's a reason for this. It was not a balanced thing. The majority of the people that were killed in these mob gatherings during this unfortunate time, which is actually still going on today, were men. And who was at the bottom watching it? Europeans were watching it, but also, most importantly, the man's wife, mate, his companion, and children had to watch this too. This sent a subliminal, subconscious, aggressive message into the black woman, and that was that she couldn't be protected. We have to understand that this was a sex war that was going on, which is the reason why the sexual organ was attacked. You see, if you lynch somebody, if you go to kill somebody, you just shoot them, you burn them, you make a public spectacle, right? But there was something that was special done, evilly special to the black man at this time, and that was right before the lynching, his balls would be cut off, which is a strange thing. Why his balls? Why not his fingers? Why not his toes? Why not his nose? Why not his ears? What was the focus on cutting the balls off? We will understand that within the scrotum is where the testosterone is causing the man to have his erection, which is why if you cut off a man's balls, he no longer can resurrect his penis. Thus, he is useless as a man. He's not useless as a person, but he's useless as what makes him a man, which is the production of his testosterone, which is what women are looking for. Women are looking for men with testosterone because it's literally what makes the person a man. That's what gives the man his muscles, his strength, his erection, his ability to produce semen, his ability to have children, his ability to protect, his ability to be all of those things that men have been for over 1 million years or even longer, even before we were in this state. And it exists amongst all the mammalian animals. But the balls would be cut off, which means that even if they stopped the lynching at the time, even if they said, we're going to let him down, and they give him back to his wife, he is useless now. So this message now trickles and goes into the black woman's subconscious, and then she begins to see her man as something that cannot protect her and something that is not sexually strong, virile anymore. He can no longer get an erection. And that was the image that was put into the black woman at the time. And the children would have to watch this actually take place. Okay, so this is how it all begins. This is what happens. So what happens is, actually, we're going to go into, we go up onto today. So I'm going to do this live. And we're going to go from a list of people that were killed even after George Floyd. We know about the hundreds of black men that were killed, from Emmett Till to Trayvon we know several people that were killed, but there's a list of people that were killed. We're going to cut this off, cut that off, cut this off, and we're going to go right to Newsweek. And we're going to take a look at the list, because this is actually this is a part of what's creating the sex wars. We're going to go to this live right here, paste, and let's click on it, and let's see the list of people. So we go to Newsweek magazine, U.S., full list of black people killed by police since George Floyd's murder. There was thousands and hundreds killed prior to, but let's just deal with even the past 2 years, the past recent time. So notice it says black people, right? That's interesting, black people. Let's look at the list here. We're just going to go down a few names and let's take a look at these quote-unquote people. because I want to get more specific and say these are not just people. Let's look. Tony McDade, 38, Tallahassee, Florida. Madassa Reyes, 35, LA. Ruben Jarvis, Terrell. Mamadou Lemon, Derek, David, Taquan, Kamal, Lewis, Philip, Michael, Rayshard, Kane. This is disgusting. Where are we? Where's Kane, Donald, Brandon, Terran, Derek, Skylier, Robert, Rashid. Let's just stop right there. We're at 22. Are these people? You see, when you use the word people, and I want to break the matrix with everyone, because they'll say a list of people that were killed. And that's true, they are people, but they're not just people. They're not just people, because people are broken up into genders. This seems like a list of men that are being killed. We're at 22. How many women have we got to? Let's go through another 20. 22. Rayshard, Lucius, Kevin, Kai, William, Joseph, Paul, Malik, Harold, Richard, Hakeem, Vincent, Aaron. Let's go. We're down at where are we at? We're at Aaron, Errol, Richard, Hakeem, Vincent, Aaron, Darius, Vincent again, Vincent Harris this time. Last one was Vincent Dornario. Jeremy, Chester, David, Darian, Ashton, Amir, Julian. Is that another 22 Another 22. We're at number 44. How many women have we covered in the 44? Remember, there's 200 and plus. Just since George Floyd, we're at 44, and it seems to be men. Let's go down a few more. Let's see if this is coincidental or what's happening, because it doesn't seem like the killing in this list is equal with the gender. Okay. Salithis, Jonathan, Raphael, Kendrell, Anthony, Adrian, Trey Ford, Damon, Julius, Michael, Robert, Dejan, Dion, Stephen, Major, Steve, Jonathan, Robert, Daryl, Charles, Darian, Patches, Kurt, Willie, DeMarco, Jonathan, Stanley, Tehran, Anthony, Kevin, Dana, Fred, Akbar, Dominique. Okay. I think we have a female. Dominique. I have to look who that is. Dominique. We're at 79 and 2 possible females out of 79. Marcellus, Rodney, Gregory, Mark, Anise, Jacarian, Walter, Maurice, and we can go down this list, and it says 229 black people, or is it really over 200 males? I'm letting you know that ever since the lynching has happened, up until today's killing, the focus of the actual who's being killed in front of you physically is the males. The focus on the sexuality is the females. But out of 229 people, everybody can go to this list and send me how many are women. Because remember, the police have access to women, children, and adult men all equally. But for some reason, just like the lynching, the focus seems to be on the black male. This is what the women see. And the attack is done through physical violence on the black male. And it causes the woman to see the black male as less of a protector and somebody who's being killed, as opposed as a protector and a king. And that's why we can't name 2 black movies where there was a black pharaoh. Remember, the very first concept of a king were the pharaohs and the kings of Sumer, or the Kiingi. This is where the concept of kings even came from. There are hundreds of movies made about different kings all over the world, but there's not one movie that it shows an image of an ancient black king. There's no movie of a King Tut that's popular where King Tut looks like myself or King Tut looks like Eddie Murphy. They will not show that image, but they can always find black actors when it comes to Amistad. They can always find black actors when it comes to Roots. They can always find black actors when it comes to any movie where there's drug dealers. So what happens is subconsciously, the black woman gets bombarded with these kind of images right here. So when you see these images right here in these movies that are produced, we have Bodyguard, Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. He's the bodyguard. He's the bodyguard. He's the protector. Whoopi Goldberg and the man above her. I think that's Jim Carrey. I don't know who that guy is, but he's above her. He's the man of the family. Machine Gun Blues, Cynthia Williams. And of course, the man she's in love with in the movie is the man with the machine gun, the protector, and he is a European man. They bombard the black woman with these images while physically killing the black male. And then the black woman's standards become the standards of romance, right? They become the standards of romance, not the standards of anybody's culture. And of course, the word romance comes from the word Roman. So anything that is romantic is coming from Roman culture, and that's why you can't find a person asking for something romantic that dates back to Kemet, the Nile Valley, or any other ancient culture. It always deals with something with a Europeanized culture. It literally has the word Roman in it. These are the subconscious matrices. They bombard with random commercials. They bombard with more movies. Monsters Ball. I've never seen a movie that was not a porno that was as sexually explicit as Monsters Ball. It was literally like a soft porn of Halle Berry having wild sex with this man, this European man. These are the images. You have New Eden. And of course, this woman here, Lisa Bonet, who's only seen with, well, back to Halle Berry, who is always seen with Caucasian. She was seen with a black man in a movie called Gothica, and she killed him. You have New Eden here. You have the Lisa Bonet. Of course, you have the Angel Heart. You see, you have all these images. So they bombard through movies, and then even when you go to education, even when you go to Time magazine, of course, they have Solving the Mysteries of DNA. And they have Adam and Eve. Now remember, growing up, every time we saw Adam and Eve, it was two white people. Always. Always. In school, in the church bulletins, in the church little pamphlets they would hand up. But why is it in Time magazine, right? They're solving the mysteries of DNA. So they're studying mitochondrial DNA. They're studying that life goes back to Africa, goes back to Ethiopia. But why is the man a European? Why is the man a European and why is the woman black? You see, these are the subliminals that you don't even notice as you live your life. You watch the movies, you see the black man being killed, you see the Time magazine, and you think that, oh, this is just normal. In actuality, what's happening is you are being hypnotized. There's actually no logical reason why this man here, who's supposed to be solving the mysteries of DNA, supposedly Adam and Eve, is showing as a European man. Okay, so what happens is even in the regular commercials that pop up, these commercials here pop up on my feed all the time. I could be watching YouTube. A McCafe commercial pops up. Renewal is a breeze. This offer makes it quick and easy. And of course, what do you see in the commercial? You see the European man who usually has a black woman with a natural. And of course, they're portrayed as a couple working together, looking at their computer. And this just randomly pops up. These things randomly pop up. That's McCafe just pops it up in your face. And of course, Britannica doesn't look like the same man. And here's the woman that looks like Beyonce, and she has her hair in a semi-tight natural. Britannica. Why does it have to be the mixed couple where the man is a European? There's a reason for this, and I'm going to actually show where this started, because this is actually what started the sex wars. Okay, so here we are, Britannica. We have McCafe. I could go through a bunch of them, right? A bunch of memes and gifs and different things where it just shows things like this. You know, the white man petting the black woman's hair. And over and over, there's thousands of these that pop up all over the place. We don't even notice them. And what happens is it breeds what's called the independent black woman, or the Europeanized black woman, and the black man becomes Europeanized, and then they start to fight because they have no culture. And remember, The highest man that they're given is Jesus, and of course you're told to love Jesus, and you'll be the bride of Christ, of course. And then Christ is, of course, looks just like Brad Pitt and the rest of them. Okay, so this a lot of things are going on here. I'm gonna actually skip this just for time here, and what happens is, as time goes on, the self-hatred continues. As self-hatred builds up in you, you start to hate your companion more, who's supposed to be your companion, because you don't see him as a companion anymore. If you can get any species of animal to dislike our war against the male or the female of their own species, you've literally caused genocide inside the people. So they put out the subliminal messages that make the black woman and black man hate each other, such as little basic things that we say all the time, like we're going to let our hair down. Okay, we're letting my hair down. Okay, little subliminal things like this. Now, letting your hair down, which means to ignore or relinquish one's hidden inhibitions and reservations, letting one's hair down. Okay, to undo the hair and let it fully fall freely. And you'll hear many black women using this term. I'm going to let my hair down today. I'm going to let my hair down today. And it means to fall freely. Okay, so when I take my hat off, my hair doesn't fall freely. Your hair falls freely when it's loose. Whenever they make these movies like Amistad and Blood Diamonds, or any of these movies where they show so-called Africans in their natural state, you never see their hair falling down anywhere, because their hair isn't a natural. Your hair doesn't fall down. This is a European term, and they're being placed in our minds, just little subconscious little things like that, making your hair fall freely, because this is the hair look that they hate. See this image right here? This is the most hated image amongst people, especially when you try to go to work with your hair like this, or go to school with your hair like this. I have children being banned from going to school for having their hair like this and having their hair in dreadlocks. Okay, so they make you hate your hair, and thus when a black man looks for beauty, he no longer looks for this on the regular. He looks for somebody that looks more with the straight hair, the European type look. And this causes a dissension between the two genders, which causes a disrespect between the two genders, because they no longer have a love for each other. Okay, this was done through slavery to make you hate your hair. This is why they had you picking a substance. Whenever, and I've broken on this on in many classes. Whenever somebody, I can't even say the words here because they'll ban the channel or censor it, but the N-word. Whenever they call you something that deals with the N-word, usually they put an adjective or a description before it, and it's usually cotton picking. You cotton picking N-word. You must be out of your cotton picking mind. They always seem to put cotton picking in front of these words. And that is simply because when you go back into the times of physical slavery, you'll find that black people actually did everything that it took to build America. That means that black people were building the railroads, they were building the buildings, they were taking care of the children, they were making the medicines, they were doing everything that you could get a servant or a slave to do to assist whatever company you had. Picking cotton was just one of the millions of things that people did. We picked oranges. They picked strawberries. Corn was picked. Everything on the farm was picked. Goats were herded. Cows were taken care of. Cows were milked. Chickens eggs were taken. Chickens were killed. Chickens were cooked. Many millions of things were done, but the one thing that always sticks to this day is the one attribute, and that is you cotton picking N-word. You must be out of your cotton picking mind. And that is simply because it's called synesthesia. It's a neurological response that happens when you associate a physical sense with a sense of touch and a sense of hearing or a sense of hate, and the neurons combine the two senses, and then the neurological charge goes through both neurons, and then they combine the two things. So when you think of one, you think of another. And of course, cotton is the same texture of your hair. They keep that in your mind consistently. Although blacks did millions of things, they keep cotton picking. So you start to hate your hair. Self-hatred is what causes rebellion, disagreements, and arguments amongst people of the same so-called race. And I'm going to show you a live demonstration of what you can do right now on Google. And all you have to do is go onto Google and type in professional hairstyle in women. We type in professional hairstyle in women, and this is actually what pops up. Here it is. Google search professional hairstyle women. Everybody take a look at it. And what do you see with a professional hairstyle women? Of course, you see the European woman in that type of hair, which is the straight hair. What is a profession? What is a profession actually? Right? A profession is what you do to survive. A profession is what you do to take care of your family. So of course, when a woman or a man is looking for a companion, one of the first things people start to examine about the opposite sex is, what is your profession? What do you do for a living? You associate your profession with your living, meaning that's what's keeping you alive. So all throughout times, in ancient times up until now, even though anybody can become a millionaire and anybody can open up a business now, usually, especially in the times right after the lynching and in the 1900s, usually when the woman is looking for a man, in most cultures, she's looking for the man who is a provider, who has the profession. That's usually how it was. Even if the woman becomes a person of a profession and brings in money, she's expected to have a certain look. What is that look? That look is a subliminal look that is promoted on YouTube. So it's not on YouTube, on the internet and inside of the school systems and inside of the books we read. And it is a professional hairstyle. And woman, you type that in. Okay, now let's go to unprofessional. We type in unprofessional hairstyle and women, and what is this? Unprofessional hairstyle in women. What just happened? What's happening here? I didn't type in any race. I didn't type in unprofessional hairstyle in black women. I just typed in unprofessional hairstyle women. Over here, I didn't type in white women. I just typed in professional hairstyle women. So the professional hairstyle women, the first images that pop up are straight hair. And when I click in unprofessional, I'm seeing woolly hair. Why is woolly hair unprofessional? This is what happens in the AI Google algorithms. And there are things that any 5-year-old little boy can do, any 5-year-old girl can do, because a little 5-year-old or a 6-year-old girl can say, I want to look at professional hairstyles. And they have access to the computer. They look it up and they see European straight hair. I want to know what's an unprofessional hairstyle? But can't any of these women have a profession? Aren't there thousands and millions of black women all throughout the world that have natural hair and that are millionaires and have professions and make thousands of dollars a month? So why is it unprofessional hairstyle? These are the subliminal messages that are in the Google algorithms, they're in the schools, and this is what causes the sex war and the self-hatred. So when a woman is looking for a man, well, let's type in professional hair. Oh, here we go. Professional hairstyles in men. Just professional hairstyles men. I didn't put white men or black men. I just put professional hairstyles men. And look at this. We got the Brad Pitt looking guy. And look at that. They're professional, right? What makes this hair professional? Well, I want to know, what is an unprofessional? Google, what is an unprofessional? Oh, look at this. Unprofessional hairstyle men. A guy that looks like Malcolm X. What's happening? What's unprofessional about this hair? You see? This is what causes, and this is what subconsciously in men and women's minds, when they're out there looking for mates, there's a lot of subconscious things taking place in our minds. So subconsciously, we look at this man and we say, he's unprofessional. Google is telling us that. Why would Google have an unprofessional title showing a man that could be a millionaire? This could be a millionaire. What is wrong with this man's hairstyle? Why is this man's hairstyle unprofessional? It's just natural. All he did is put 2 slits on the side. He didn't even do anything to it. He just put 2 slits on the side, and therefore he is unprofessional. Already the texture of his hair, that's unprofessional, and the texture of his hair, this is professional. Profession is how you make your living and how you make your money. Okay, so how did this all get started? Well, what happens is, we'll go to this really quickly, and I'll show this. And this is a little boy who was banned.
Greetings and salutation. For Platt, reporting for your Black World News with an article from
Second, that's too loud. Sorry, I'm going to turn it down a little bit, everybody. Hold on.
My son just got told he cannot attend the school with his hair. If that's not bias, I don't know what it is. Personal opinion. They told my son he can't go to school because he got hair. Wow, I can't braid it up. Can I braid it up? Can I braid it up? Is that okay?
I don't think so. Where's Mrs. Book has to get that? It's in our.
That's crazy, man.
It's in our hand.
So, Christian school. Let me get back to the screen for everybody. Okay, so where's the screen here? So that's a long video, but what happens is inside of that school there, and that's in many schools. Let me get it off this screen here. In many schools, what happens is the child is now banned. The black. Whoop, sorry. Mic check. Press 1 if you can hear me. Mic check. Press 1 if you can hear me. Something just reset here. Let me get back to the screen. 1 second here, everybody. Bear with me. I'm going to get back to the screen. Everything just reset. That was very interesting, but I'll talk in the meantime. So what's happening is the child is banned from school because he has his hair in dreads and braids, two famous hairstyles amongst young and old black men and women. He was told he cannot braid his hair, he cannot dreadlocks his hair, he has to cut all of that off. Meanwhile, the child that just walked by him had hair, but of course the child was a European and could have his hair in the professional the professional hair. This is happening all across America. I know 3 to 4 black women right now that are told to cut their afros or they will not be allowed to come into work. I'm going to get back to the screen here. Let me do a screen share. And here we go. Okay, and then we're going to get on to the next. But this is one of my favorite topics because it really deals with the subliminal genocide of people. So when we look at people today and how black men are viewed today, and we go to the rappers, we go to how they look, this is the new image of how black rappers look today. Now, if those who are old enough know that back in 1987 to like 1993, it was the black rappers that actually raised our minds into consciousness. It was Brand Nubians, it was Ice Cube, it was Public Enemy, it was several. But when we look at these people today, you'll see that one of the things they have in common, they have crosses all over them. They have the look of death and drugs all over them. The look of unhealth all over them. They have their eyes rolled back. You have inverted 666s and crosses all over these people. Things in their foreheads, knives on them, tattoos on all over their faces. You have guys that look like Skittles. People that look like, now I remember when I was a child and we used to watch horror movies, this is actually what the horror creatures would look like. We never had anybody that looked like this, but this is what the horror creatures would look like. They would look like this. These are the creatures that would chase the people inside of zombie movies. And now these are the looks and images of the black man today. And this type of zombie look, this type of weird, strange, it has nothing to do with consciousness. It has everything to do with some type of death look. So of course, as time goes on and consciousness diminishes within the black man and women's psyche of how they feel about themselves, then of course the respect diminishes, and thus the sex wars begin, because you can't look at a creature like this and say, this is the type of black man I want to be with my daughter or to raise my children. But these are the images that we have today, and they look like things that are dying. They look like creatures that are actually dying and sick, with slices and slits and colors all over their face. And these are the modern day rappers that the young black sisters have to look up to, which is a completely different look from when hip hop first began, and the brothers look like men. And the people, even though there was gold being worn, but there was African symbols, medallions, Nefertiti. The names of the men were Big Daddy Kane, which stood for King, Asiatic, nobody's equal. We had people like Paris, who was all about being a Black Panther and defending the black woman and child. Every single song was about that, or other political topics. Of course, you don't hear about him or anybody like him anymore. You had Poor Righteous Teachers, which is actually a name taken directly from the 5% lessons. You see the man has his arms crossed like a pharaoh, and every single song they had was about knowledge. Can you see the different looks? Where are the cross tattoos in the middle of their forehead? Where's the pink hair? Where's the demon eyes? Where's the demon face? Where's the pink tongue? Where's the Skittles face? Why do they look like this? Because this is what men look like before the tampering. You see the imagery, you see the 7, you see a 6-pointed star. Based on the knowledge they had, this was their depiction of manhood. This was their depiction of knowledge. They have the crown on, you see. Their album cover is called Black Business. You see the difference? We had Public Enemy, a black man in a Target. You had a Flavor Flav before he was Flavor of Love, before he turned into that creature. Flavor Flav with the clock on, which represented that he knew what time it was. You had Professor Griff, which was the minister of the First World Security Team. You had Chuck D, who was the voice, who spoke about all type of political issues. Listen to the voice of Chuck D. Listen to his voice. Even forget about the words. Listen to the voice of Chuck D, and then listen to the voice of the rappers you hear today. Just the voice. If you even put aside the words, you'll see the voices even changed. You see, the image is completely different. Where's the cross tattoos? Where's the crazy faces? Where's the pink tongue and the death look? You see how the black woman used to look? Where is this woman today? Where is this rapper today? You see, as the consciousness loses, the sex war begins. So therefore, there's no way that people could look at a Queen Latifah back then, who we looked at as the mother, the teacher. She was ladies first. She was the knowledge of a sister. She wore the crown. She represented. And now we have women that are named after men. Sex wars. So we have women that are actually named a stallion, a male horse. You see? And this goes on and on and on and on. Sleeping with the enemy. You see, the Rakem Allah, the man is named a god. His name is Rakem the God, or Rakem Allah. Do you see the difference in energy between these faces and this face, and the black men and women rappers faces we have today are completely different. You see the 7-pointed star? You see that? You see Queen Latifah? You see the difference when we looked at black women, but when you take away the knowledge, now Queen Latifah has blonde, straight hair. But you see Queen Latifah with all the African medallions. This is what raised us up, and they saw this and they changed it. Look at these men. Look at these men compared to the men I just showed you with the crosses in their face. Look at the unks. Look at these. Look at the hats. Look at the jewelry. When you look at these men look like they're no joke. These men look like they're representing some part of the motherland, a completely different imagery. You see brand Nubians. You see the kente cloth, the tie-dye kente cloth image. They're called Nubians. You see the names of the group, jungle brothers representing the jungles of the motherland with the baboon and the elephants of the ancient motherland in the background. Completely different concepts. We can go on and on and on and on, but you can see the change that is taking place, which of course the young black sister today, who is 15 years old, cannot say that she looks at the black man the same as the young black sister when she was 16 years old, looking at Rakim, looking at Big Daddy Kane, looking at KRS-One, looking at the who are the Malcolm X's today? Who are the people of today? The image is completely changed, and here is where it all got started. It all got started with the Bible. Before we knew of any of this, when we were young, it was one of the very first love stories. It was the most powerful. Who are the two most powerfully political people that we heard about in a love story? Who was it? It was this story fed to us since we were 5 years old. Here's how it all began, which started the war. We heard about the wisest man on the planet. Remember the wisest man? Remember when we were Christians? Remember the smartest man on the planet? His name was Solomon. Remember him? Well, he got one of the most powerful women on the planet, left her culture. Remember the story we were taught? She left her culture, which means that she, according to the biblical narrative, was an Ethiopian queen called the Queen of Sheba. Rastas love to talk about her. The Queen of Sheba. The Queen of Sheba. She was an Ethiopian queen, man. An Ethiopian queen, a Queen of Sheba. And she left Ethiopia, which was Kemet because there was no Ethiopia back then. She left Ethiopia, Kemet, the Nile Valley, with all the wise priests, all the wise scribes, the smartest men on the planet, even according to Aristotle, that the wisest men on the planet come from the Nile Valley. Even according to the whites, the wisest men on the planet were the men from Africa. They said this themselves. She had access to the pharaohs. This is supposed to be 800 BC. Okay, the times of Pianki, the times of Shabaka. Remember the Shabaka stone. Pharaohs around her, 800 BC. She leaves all the wisdom of Ma'at, all of her culture, according to what we were taught as children, and she goes and finds a white Jew. She goes and finds a white Hebrew named Solomon, because remember, these are the same biblical pictures. Remember, in the biblical pictures when we were children, they never portrayed Solomon as a black man, ever, when we were a child. But Sheba is portrayed as the black woman with the long flowing locks. You see? So you have Solomon over here. They make sure he looks like this kind of man right here. And then you have the black woman. We were taught this since we were 5 years old in the Bible. They put out the movie, The Bible of Solomon. And who is this? Some European man? And who's looking at him with the eyes of lust, the eyes of love? Of course, Vivica Fox, a gorgeous, beautiful black woman, and 3 whites. And a gorgeous, beautiful black woman. You see, the Queen of Sheba leaves and visits Solomon because this man is the wisest man, the most powerful king on the planet, according to what we believe when we were Christians. This man right here, this image right here. Nobody in their Christian books, when we were 5 and 6 years old, when we were Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses, nobody can show me a black Solomon. There was no depiction. We were raised up in our Sabbath quarterlies and our books when we were children as a black Solomon. He was always portrayed as white. Sheba was an Ethiopian queen. Even if they didn't show a picture of her, they always said she was Ethiopian. Okay? So this was the beginning of it. Okay? So when we understand that, and of course there's no archaeology of any of them. There is no ancient, in reality, there is no ancient Sheba and Solomon. You know, it brings us back to these images right here. You know, we have the black woman now dancing for the old white man, you know. Right, so these are the images that are being portrayed today. I'm going to take it off screen share. These are the images being portrayed today. Let me get back to the screen. Unfortunately, of course, this starts a sex war when you're at home. I have actual stories of men and women that broke up because the man didn't do something on Valentine's Day. You see? Name an African holiday of love. Go, type it in the room. Name an African holiday of love that you celebrate with your wife, mate, and that your mom celebrated. We have Valentine's Day. We made sure we have that. We have Cupid, a little image of a little pedophile naked baby, all right, that shoots arrows in people's hearts and butts. And we have this, right? We have Valentine's Day, man who was killed and eaten. We have all these stories, and they're all called romantic stories from romantic. Well, if you're from Asia, then your love story should be Asiatic, not romantic. If you're from Africa, then it would be Afrocentric. But the focus of it is always romance. And that's why every time we were growing up and we saw a romance novel, it was always some muscular-looking European man on the cover with a woman, because it's focused on Romans. So this, of course, when you're raised up in a house to believe that Jesus is the most powerful man on earth, he's up on the wall, he looks like Mel Gibson, Solomon is the wisest man on the planet Earth. All you hear about black men, even the leaders, that they're dying. Even when you get to the most powerful men, the Malcolm X, dead. The Clarence 13X, dead. The Noble Drew Ali, dead. This man arrested. This man dead. This man gone. Until now, all we're left with is internet people. We actually have nobody stomping the grounds anymore. There's no modern day Malcolm X. There's no modern day Black Panthers. It's just like Tariq Nasheed's and other brothers that are just on the internet. But it's not the same as what it was, because they make sure that all of those men that stood up, they either did a sex scandal on them or they killed them. And those are the images that the children and women are raised up on, unfortunately. And so therefore, you don't look at the black man as the same, especially when you're putting your children to bed and reading bedtime stories and you have no ancient black. Who here got put to bed by their mom with an ancient bedtime story? A bedtime story about an ancient black king. They would rather give you violent fantasies to put you to bed. Violent nursery rhymes to put you to bed than actual stories of a black king. They'd rather tell you about Humpty Dumpty who sat on a wall, broke up into pieces. They'd rather tell you about violence. Jack and Jill went up the hill. All these little bedtime and nursery rhyme stories that we would get, and they were all about European violence before they gave you any story of a Tsar, before they gave you any story of a Shaka, before they gave you any story of the people under Ola Damare, before they gave you any stories of anything that dealt with any actual history that dealt with black men, because they cannot have a black man seen as a king. And if the black woman doesn't see the black man as a king, and the black man doesn't see the black woman as a goddess, I won't say queen because that's another word for whore, but a black woman as a goddess or a netert or as a supreme being, if we don't see each other like that, then of course there's going to be bickering and wars and breakups and arguments, because we don't even have our spirituality. So thank you for that question, brother God Mind. But it started off when we were children, and we got the Solomon story and the Barbie dolls, and you could do the black doll test. I mean, this is all old stuff that I was teaching people from 92, 93, that you give a young baby a black doll, give her the white doll, and just ask which one is the prettiest, and 95% of the time she points to the white doll. It's not her fault. It's not even the parents' fault, because they have the dolls too. But if you grow up thinking that yourself is not attractive, and that your man is not attractive, and he has no ancient stories, and he's only attractive if he acts and talks like somebody else, then of course you're going to hate him for what he really is, and the black man is going to hate the woman for what she really is. But go ahead and grow yourself a 1 foot afro, put on a nose ring, and try to walk into work. and see what happens. Because remember, that's unprofessional, right? So there's a lot of self-hatred that is being taught, and it causes gender wars. We have no time for gender wars. That's just another distraction. We have no time for women to be a part of the feminist movement. We have no time for any of that, because none of that is our war or anybody's war. None of that is anybody's war. Your war is to battle the evils within, to find a culture that you can tie into yourself, that can help you raise your family based on pride, based on true spiritual knowledge, and to get out of the matrix. Your war is to fight the matrix and the evils that are being placed amongst us. See these two pictures in the back right here? See this one? This one is Osset. See this one here? This one is Mary. Your war is to get this one out of your mind, not to fight your loved one. This is why when the European gave us terminologies for our partner, the terminologies are already dealing with battling subconsciously. So they'll say, hey, is your counterpart here? Who's your counterpart? And what does the word counter mean? All right. If somebody throws a punch and you counter it, you're blocking it. But now you're calling your spouse your counterpart. She's the opposite sex. She's not the opposite sex. The woman is not an opposite sex from a man, and the man's not an opposite sex from a woman. But when you have a culture that's based on violence and based on strife and struggle and negativity, then you have these terms. That's why you don't have any ancient papyrus or ancient Sumerian writings where anybody called anybody their opposite sex. There's no ancient writings that I've ever seen where one person calls the other person their counterpart or their opposite. Opposite comes from the word opposing. It means to be against. So if somebody says something, you say, I oppose that thought. I oppose you. That means you're going against. I counter you. That means you're stopping what the other person is doing. So when they have all these subliminal terms based on a couple, and then all these subliminal imageries, plus you don't even like what you are, then of course subconscious genocide takes place, and that was what fuels the gender war. But men and women, you have no time to be arguing with each other about gender, about women's rights, men's rights, who's equal. Men and women are not equal. Men and women were never supposed to be equal. One is equal to one. One is not equal to negative. One is not equal to two. We are individual beings, and all of us are unique. We're not equals. No, nothing is equal. That is another European concept that breeds complete chaos. My equal would be something that looks like me, that has my parts. It's the same. Equal means the same. I don't want my equal. I want a unique gender that matches with me. And that unique gender has unique superior qualities about herself, and I have unique superior qualities about myself. And when those two unique superior qualities come together, they start to form a chemistry, a family, but they're not equals. They're not equals. They are supreme in their own qualities, and they come together. A female lion and a male lion are not equal. Nor did any culture ever teach that. They're not there. So all this, it just breeds chaos because we don't even know what the concepts of the original teachers were teaching about relationships. That's why anytime we go to refer to a relationship, it's always a movie, an R&B song, nothing that deals with anything in ancient times as an example of how did the black woman and black man deal with each other without the bickering. When did Asar and Aset bickering? When was Khufu and his mates? This didn't happen. So thank you, my brother, for the question. I had to give you all of that because this is a very important topic that deals with how you get along with your own spouse or your own partner. That's a being that's supposed to be a part of you, right? That's what the word sex means. Sex means a part of something. Okay, it's from the word section. When you bring the sections together, then they're whole. So we need to understand these concepts, and then you will have less problems in your relationships, because you'll be able to relate to each other based on cultural respect and not expectations of another culture that was superimposed on you. And it's not our fault. We didn't know it. But once you start peeling back the levels of the superimposing, you start to realize, oh, I don't want, wait a minute, I don't want that. That was placed on me. When you start to ask yourself the question, when I get married, why am I wearing white and the man's wearing black? Why is he in a black tuxedo? Why do I have these expectations? Why do I want a ring on my finger? What culture is that? What ancient culture is that? Can we find that amongst the Zulus? What culture is that says when you get married, make sure you put the ring on the finger, and when you get to the wedding, make sure you throw the rice? And then you start to realize that these are all mutated stories of Asar and a Set, and the European mutated them into a version of what it is today, and doesn't tell you the origin. Doesn't tell you that Aset was the great black when he was called Kem Or when he was communicating with Aset, and that Aset was in white because white was the color of mourning for your dead husband. They flipped it and made black the color of the funeral when white was the color of the funeral. And that's why in the funeral ceremonies in the Book of the Dead, all the women are wearing white. Because white was the color of death, white was the color of mourning, white was the color of fear. And they were mourning the great black, who was the god of wheat and rice grains. So now you get to your wedding, you throw a veil over your head. Right? The veil over your head. You see the veil in the background. They move to the side. See that veil right there? You see that? That veil right there in Christianity ended up representing beauty. And let me just go to it. And let me just end it off like this. And I'm going to tell you, let me just show you this right here. See if I have it here. Hopefully it did not it didn't get cut off when the screen got shut down. When the computer got shut down, I had some technical difficulties, and I think that it did. Okay, let me see here. I think that it did, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go to this one. Oh, here we go. And I'll show this just to end it off. And I'll show you how the Bible once again promoted the self-hatred of the hair with its subliminal message and the self-hatred of you. So here we go. We're in Corinthians 11:14-15. Does not nature itself teach you that if a man has long hair, it's a dishonor to him, but if a woman has long hair, it's a glory to her, because her hair is given to her instead of a headdress? What's a long headdress? Or they put veil. See this over here that you wear at your wedding, or you may see some Jewish or Islamic women wearing this. This is a veil. It comes down over, only the extreme veils cover your face where you can't see your eyes. That's just the Muslims that actually do that. The veil that is common around the world is the one that goes down the side of your face. It covers over your neck, and this is the veil, which became in the Bible symbolic of hair. So the woman could wear long hair that would fall on the two sides, that would be like a head covering or a veil, and that was her beauty, right? But there's a problem because well, let me get to the actual word. So the actual word here, when you go look up the head covering, right? Peribolian, right? When you look up peribolian, it is thrown around, a wrapper, to throw something around, or a veil to throw around. And because it represents a cloth that is limp, something that is thrown around, in other words, is straight and loose like a cloth, not like an afro. You see, the afro is not thrown around, but the veil in the Bible, is the peribolian, is something that's thrown around or wrapped around or falling down like a wedding veil or a Jewish or Islamic veil. And that is how people with straight hair grow. And again, if you're Mexican, Indian, if you're Polynesian, any other race that has straight hair, this has nothing to do with whether your hair is inferior, whether your hair is superior. This has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with when Europeans are creating their Bible, they're creating it to show things that represent their beauty. Even Jesus in the Bible is described as a white man. And we can get into that afterwards, but I'm not getting into that right now. Jesus is described as a white man. The long hair is here, and it's something that's thrown around because it's a loose cloth, not like an afro, which actually comes out like a puff. And these are your biblical teachings that are subliminally in our mind ever since we're 6 years old. And we see the Barbie and we see all these things, and they just make you dislike yourself. Okay, so thank you, my brother. Thank you, God Mind, for that question. We're going to move on to the other questions, some of the missed questions. I'm going to go into my inbox here, and I'm going to go into, there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. We got the Netter Ankh Hotep is awesome. This every pod class, this man is supporting with a question. Netter Ankh, I'm going to ask you a question. Netter Ankh, are you in the room? I want to give this man, do something a little special with this brother. This brother is a huge supporter. Netter Ankh, I'm sorry, I'm even saying that. I'm not going to read the name again. My eyes are a little blurry. Netter Ankh Hotep L. Brother Netter Ankh Hotep L, are you in the room right now? If so, press A1. I actually want to give you a link. I want you to come in and ask a question live. I do this only with a few people. You're an avid, awesome supporter. I need to actually take a 2-minute break for a moment. So I'm actually inviting you to come in. I'll put you on the screen. You will give your thoughts and questions live if you are in the room, because this man sends massive support every pod class. I would also like to answer his questions while he's in the room, but I'd like to actually officially meet him, because this man, even if his last question is not answered, is sending another big donation. I respect the brother. Thank you for your support. Netter Ankh, are you in the room? Let me scroll down and see if he is in the room. I don't see him yet. I'm going to keep looking to see if Netter Ankh is in the room. Is that you, Netter Ankh? Are you MKD? It says Netter Hotep. Am I reading that right? Is this you, bro? Let me put it on the screen. Netter Hotep. Is that you, my brother? Sometimes the names are different on the screen than they are in the thing. But Netter Ankh Hotep L. That's the full name here. And let me see what let me actually see what it is. For my question in the chat. I don't see the. Okay, let me see if there's another one. There's for Enki. Okay, let me go ahead and at least put it in the screen here. Netter Ankh L. I'm gonna put this in the screen here. Thank you for your support. And I have to take a little break, but I'm going to put this in the screen here. I'll put this as number 1. Let's put it about number 1. And it says, so much going on. I need an engineer. It's interesting doing all this as the one-man show, but I'm going to try to. I gotta look for the question. I gotta put it is warm in here too. Okay, here we go. Netter Ankh. I'm gonna put this on the screen, and then I do have to take a break. I do want you to come into the room. Netter Ankh. Shout out to Netter Ankh for his super chat, Cash App, his Cash App support, and it says for Yahweh Enki Tahuti question in the chat. Shout out to you. Netter Ankh Hotep L. Much respect to you. I'm going to look in the chat, see if you're in the room. I'm actually going to invite you into the screen. Netter Unc L. Are you Netter the greatest? There's so many Netters in here. Are you Netter? Are you Netter the greatest? Is that you? Okay. I am here. This is me. I don't know who is you. I don't know what's General is General Netter Unc L or is okay, here we go. Let me who's there? We have imposters here. Oh, you're Netter the greatest. Okay, we got okay. You're Netter the greatest. Shout out to General Unc L is different. Okay. Okay. Wait, I can't get his name. I am Netter. Okay, there's two names. Okay, no problem. Netter Unc the greatest. Netter Unc L. Shout out to you and your support. It's hard to keep track of all these names. Brother Ahati, are you in the room? Brother Ahati, are you in the room? If you Bill Gates says imposter. No, he just has different he has different names in here or different I don't know. This seems to be him. Some, that's what he says. This is him. So yes, Ahati, shout out to you, Ahati. So Netter Unc, if you could type in the screen, type in your question about the Enki. I'm gonna go look at it, and I also want to, in this meantime, give a shout out to the moderators. Everybody in the room, these are the moderators. Let me get that off the screen here. Comments. Boom. These are the moderators. You can ask them basic questions about what's going on in the room. You can also get links from them. If you've missed them, they will give you links. They are the moderators. Also, Ahati Ma'ad is a moderator. I just couldn't officially get him on because YouTube blocked me from getting him on. Saneti Amun says, greetings. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out to the moderators. Okay, so the brother says, oh, he's the God can't speak, he's at work. Thank you, MK. He's at work. No problem. Okay. Okay, Ahati Ma'at. I'm going to actually I'm going to send the link in the room. Click on, come on. I have to take a 3-minute break. Ahati Ma'at will talk to the people in the meantime and hold it down for a few minutes, and then I will come back to do the answers. But these are the Ma'atorators. Ahati Ma'at, this is the link, and this is for Ahati Ma'at. Not everybody to jump in the room. I will not let you in unless you are invited in the room. So here is the link right there. Okay, and the brother says, hey Tahuti, when you get back, okay, I'm gonna try. When are you getting back on the Killer Priest show? When I'm so here's the situation. I was not feeling well for almost over a month. I was not feeling 100%, and also my family at the time and other people around me. I wanted to make sure that everyone around me was 100%, so my focus at that time was not on the internet or social media at the time. So I was actually off everything for a long period of time. A lot of people were asking me, why don't we see on the Killer Priest platform? At that time, you didn't see me on anywhere, even on my own channel. I didn't have the podcast because I just did not pay any attention to social media. At the time, I was focused on the health of my family. I came back maybe a week and a half ago or a couple weeks ago, because I've done 2 pod classes a couple weeks ago, and Killer Priest says he misses my presence, and I said I am fully back. I'm ready. Whenever we talk to organize to come back on a Monday, then reach out and I'll be back there on a Monday. And he said he misses me and he's glad I'm back to health and everything is good. So shout out to Killer Priest. And whenever he contacts or whenever we talk and set it up and organize it, because I have to organize it a day before, then I will go on the show. Back on the show. Peace and love to AD, Priest, Rasul, Min Kepra, and everybody on the show that shows me love. Okay. Let me get the Hati is going to come on. Let me get this off the screen. I'm going to take a couple-minute break. And when I come back, Nets or L, you can put your question in the chat. Our moderators, you can save this question and put it up on the chat, and I will see it. I will see it when I return. In the meantime, Hati Ma'at will come in. Let me see this here. Let me get this off the screen. Shout out to the moderators, but I'm going to take you off the screen for a moment and take Jenkins off the screen for a moment. Mojito, that's right. Mojito, shout out to Mojito. I forgot about Mojito, the cat. Okay, Hati Ma'at is coming in. There is my greatest student of all times, Hati Ma'at. There he is. Hati Ma'at, go ahead. I'm going to take a couple-minute break, and I shall be back. Hati Ma'at, the screen is yours, and I'll be back to answer everybody's questions. Also, this brother here, DHNJ, thank you, my brother. And also, I have a good feeling about you too. And if you ever want to come on to ask a live question, you can click on as well.
Yeah, come on. More than merrier.
I like you. All right, go ahead. Let me get this off the screen. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Definitely miss you too. Oh, Tall God. Peace of Tall God. Tall God, peace to you, my brother. Mahito probably doesn't miss Tahuti bringing that. Okay. I'm trying to get the things off the screen and more things are popping up. Okay. Ahati, go ahead, my brother. Peace and love. I'm going to put it on mute. I'll be back in a few moments.
Peace. How's everybody tonight doing? Hope everybody's doing well. If you can hear me, let me get a 1. I'm not sure if the mic is clear. Can people hear me? Okay, cool. I guess I have some delay over here. First, I want to say peace to the Netherette. That means Tahuti's goddesses. I know Sinette was saying, "What's up? Peace, my sister." And but the other two, I hope you're doing well, and that life is going great for the both of you too. So if anybody has a question or anything, I only got like 3 minutes, so I can't really come off the top of the head with anything. But if there's something that he said tonight about relationships or whatever is on your mind, just let me know. If you have questions, even from like, seeing brothers on the Killer Priest show, why do they say this? Why do they say that? Without getting into the character assassinations, I'm not going to do all that. But if you have like questions, like something doesn't sound right, you can ask me that too. Okay, so General Jenzino, I hope I'm not butchering your name. I apologize. He says, "Do you think Russia will go to war with the Ukraine?" Okay, perfect. It's a little off topic tonight, but I'm gonna say something right now that a lot of people don't talk about, and I got to be very careful because I already got 2 strikes on here for speaking my mind. I used to stream too, but they actually stopped my streaming while I was streaming like this because of what I say, because I really don't hold back. So if you actually want to check me out uncensored, go over to my BitChute channel. It's on bitchute.com. It's instructions of a hottie at bitchute.com. So what do I think about the war and just like the politics and all that? It's all run and controlled by the people in the little hats and long noses. So if you know who they are, they're the people that took the stories from the Greeks, took our stories out of Kemet, took it from the Greeks, and created their own little religion and society so that they wouldn't have to choose a side between the Christians and the Muslims. So Putin is Jewish. I gotta be careful what I say here because I don't know what the algorithm is gonna do. Putin is man, I got so much on these people. Putin is Jewish. Joe Biden, 90% of his cabinet is Jewish. Xi Jinping, whatever his name is, the Chinese president. He's down with the Sidoris. They're the big Jew family over there. Everybody's controlled by the little hats and big noses. Everything. The Matrix today is. I know Saba, he doesn't talk about it because you can't really talk about this on YouTube because they own YouTube too. But even like okay, so let me just focus on this. So Ukraine, Russia, it doesn't matter who wins because the people in the little hats and the long noses, they are gonna win because they play both sides of the field. They're coaching both sides of the field. So they're coaching Putin and they're coaching the Ukraine president. I have video evidence of the Ukrainian president talking to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's talking like me right now. Actually, Joe Biden's talking like a Donald Trump. He's talking all business. He's coherent. He's not going. He's not acting like the bumbling fool that the media portrays him like. He's actually talking very coherently and logically, and he's basically telling the Ukrainian president if he doesn't listen to what the Americans want him to do, that he's not going to be in his position anymore. So I wouldn't try to go too deep into what's going on in the world, so as far as the politics, because it's all controlled. All of it's controlled. And it just has to be said. It's all controlled. People want to blame the Chinese. People want to blame the Americans. These are just labels. It's all controlled by these people in Israel, and they've been they have how do I put it without shutting the stream off? They have a plan. It's called the Bunting Cloverleaf Plan, and the Great Reset from Schwab. He's in on it, and basically Israel's going to be in the middle of everything, and then you're going to have Africa, you're going to have Europe, you're going to have Africa, and it's built and it's drawn like a clover. This goes back to 1600s, and Israel's in the middle. The Israelis control all the internet. They control all the Intel, your Microsoft computer you're on, the Apple. They all have backdoors from the Pegasus programs, the Palantir. That's where all these viruses come in. They're already prefabricated and created before you even buy your computer or your cell phone. I mean, I really want to go uncensored, man, because that's why I said just check out my BitChute channel because I just go raw. BitChute doesn't kick you off like YouTube. You can say anything. But people say, like, I always hear like people always blaming these other groups, and it's not these other groups. They're being controlled by the Rothschilds, who are what? Small hats and long noses, right? And then above the Rothschilds, like I have rabbis on videos saying that Jews don't believe that they come from planet Earth. They actually come from another planet in order to control Earth. I got a bunch of stuff. But
Okay.
yeah. So I'll let Saba get back to his business. But good question though.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Brother Hati, for keeping the people engaged while I stepped away. So I'm gonna get to the brother's question. If you could type your question, let me go back. Yahweh Enki Tahuti question in the chat. Yahweh. Let me see something here. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to give shout outs to more people that gave support. Israel Hoyle. Thank you for your support, brother Israel Hoyle. I'm going to throw that up in the room. Israel Hoyle with the awesome support, who threw out a 20. Thank you, my brother. Or sister. I'm not sure. I don't want to assume. But we're going to throw out the support, the people who are supporting. We're going to throw them over into the screen so you can see. So this is Israel. Israel, if you're a Hebrew, shalom, Israel. And thank you. Thank you for Israel Hoyle with the 20. Thank you. And keep supporting. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to look back in the comments to see if Netter has the question. Did the moderators, did you get his question? Did you get his question? Okay. Okay, so Mahati, you can stick around, but I'm going to put it back to my full screen. And I definitely stick around. And thank you so much, my brother. This brother has done a lot. I'll say this brother has shown his appreciation and his loyalty and dedication to the truth, to myself personally. Helped myself. He's protected me in certain situations. He is completely loyal. He has done things to help support me personally and my family personally. I trust him to protect my family. He's done things to risk himself to assist in the mission that we are on. And shout outs and respect to Ahati Ma'at, whose life is just looking at the brother now and just remembering how I met this brother and just he's a manifestation of of how information can make you a better man. He's so much advanced and different from the day when I met him. He's trying to sell turtles, baby turtles, and completely different person. Just trying to.
Yes. When you have time, maybe I could just share just briefly how when I met you and then where I'm at now, so in case people are on the fence about.
Okay. What I will do is let me go ahead and try to answer this question since the pod class time is ticking and I need to get through this support, the people supporting the class, and I want to answer the questions, and then afterwards when I go to take another break, absolutely you'll come on.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the back for a moment. Okay, there we go. So I'm looking. Moderators, did you get the brother's question? He said it was a question in the chat.
What's the name of the book?
Net. He has like two names.
Netter the Greatest? I have it.
Netter the Greatest.
I have the question. We don't know if you said it.
You have the question. Copy. You can copy paste the email to me.
Let me send it. I'm gonna send it to you. Text.
Oh, okay.
Easier.
Yes. Okay. So one of the moderators is getting the question that I missed. and let's get it on. In the meantime, I'm going to go through more of these supports. I want to get through these. Steven Sandoval. Is that the same Steven that sent me the Patah question? Incorporated the concept of the Sphinx as it pertains to shadow work. Okay, let me put this up here. Shout out to your support, brother Steven. Shout out to you. And Steven sent a $5. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen here. He also has a question that I'm not too sure about or clear on. So I'm gonna wait to comment on that. Okay, thank you. Okay, shout out to you, Steven. I'm gonna go ahead and put your support on the screen, and shout out to Steven Sandoval. Said, do you think Carl Jung incorporated the concept of the Sphinx as it pertains to shadow work? I'm actually not sure. I'd have to see the particular teaching. I'd have to see exactly what you're speaking of. I'm actually not familiar with whether Steve Jung incorporated. I don't even know what the concept of the Sphinx is. Actually, I know what the Sphinx actually is. I know what it's called and what it is. I don't know what he saw as the concept of the Sphinx. So I can't really get to that right now because I don't have enough information to comment on what his concept of the Sphinx was and how he pertained it to shadow work. Not too sure on that, but respect the question and the support, my brother. Okay. That is what you do when you're not familiar with something. There'd be less arguments, less debate, and less chaos if everybody was just humble enough to say, "Hey, I don't know what Steve Jung said about the Sphinx. I'm not sure, so I don't know." But instead of creating something to hide the fact that you don't know something, just say, "That's interesting. I'll go look it up," or maybe he can clarify and give me more information on Steve Jung's shadow work and actually what the concept of the Sphinx was he has, because I know what the Sphinx is and not what a concept is. So, but peace and shout out and love for that. And I just got a message here. Let me see. Let's see. Let me look. I think I just got in a question about Enki. Sorry. Did man... No, you pasted the question, but it's not what he in the email. Let me go back to the email. Okay, let me, just for clarity, Netter the Great, who I think is the same as Netter Unk, he said, for Yahweh Enki Tahuti question in the chat. That's the email I got, and that's the Cash App I got.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, but the question I just got had to do with single cell organ. That's not this one. I'm gonna do them step at a time. I'm at the Yahweh Enki Tahuti question. So if Netter the Great, I want to put things in order. So if you sent a Yahweh Enki question, please send that again because I didn't get that question. Okay, I'm gonna let me go on here. Okay, we have Spice Island Sea Moss. Must be Jamaican. Spice Island Sea Moss. Thank you for the support, my brother. Okay. If anybody also has If anybody sends me a Cash App or a PayPal and does not want their name for some reason, I know the names on here are different than the names in the room. If you don't want your name as it is on the Cash App, send me a little note with the Cash App and I'll just shout out the name that you are in the chat. Some people are private about that, but only if it matters to you. So this is Spice Island. I'm going to give him a shout out and respect for his support. Let me get back into the room and okay, where are you, Spice Island? And I'm still looking for this Enki question. Enki, is this Spice Island right here? Let's see. Spice Island. Spice Island, shout out to you and respect for your support. Spice Island CMOS sounds like a Jamaican brethren from Yard. I don't know though, but shout out and respect to you, my brother, for the support. Let me go back to okay. Okay, moderators, if you see the brother's question about Enki Tahuti, that matches the email. If you see that in the chat room, please send that to me directly through text or through email. In the meantime, we have the beautiful, supportive sister Nyasha Champ, who always sends support, and she is sending a respect for a book that she has purchased from me, a lesson book called Melanin Dark Consciousness. And Melanin Dark Consciousness book, which I am going to also put on the screen. And here we go. Nyasha Champ, who always shows support. Shout out and respect to you, sister. You are great. Here we go. Boom. And Nyasha Champ, she says, for your melanin conscious work has been fantastic. Thank you, sister, for that. I appreciate the support, and I'm also going to I'm going to show everybody what she's talking about here. Okay, so this is what she's talking about, which everybody has access to through me. Is one of my lesson books. I have different lesson books, and the lesson book that she got, that she is showing respect for, is this one right here. Let me go ahead and show this. Okay, I'll go ahead and screen share. Here is the one she, whoops, one second everybody, hold on everyone. I'll just go ahead and screen share, that's easier to do. So here's the book she is talking about, Melanin Dark Consciousness. Here's the cover. You can obtain this by merely contacting me on my Facebook, emailing me at mysticaltelevision@gmail.com. And here is the book she is speaking of. This is one of my lessons here. Melanin Dark Consciousness. It may look a little blurry on the screen, but that does say on the top, Melanin Dark Consciousness by Amenhotep Ra, which is me also. Okay, so thank you for your respect and thank you for your appreciation, sister. Did it share? Let me put it on again just in case. Okay, here it is, Melanin Dark Consciousness. Just in case the last one didn't share, here is the cover of the book, Melanin Dark Consciousness, and you can obtain it by contacting me and requesting, and I'll give you the directions on how to order one of my lesson books. So thank you, Nyasha Champ. Appreciate that. And let me get this off the screen. And
I can't go beyond a certain
okay.
chats. And send it with the word question.
And did the brother ever put the question of the?
She just said, she text said that he sent the Enki question to Pharaoh. Where he sent it to?
Yeah.
He sent
Copy and paste it and copy and paste it and send it to me in text or send it to me in email so I can see this question. We're waiting for this Enki question. Let me see if you put it in the room. I'll look myself. Okay, let's see. I'm breaking down. Oh, I think this is it. Okay, here we go. We found it. We found Netter. I think the long lost question. I feel like Indiana Jones looking for the treasure. I found this question here finally after 20 minutes of search. It says, and shout out to Netter the Great for his $25 support donation for the question. And the question is, when breaking down the name Yahweh, you mentioned there's no letter Y. It was an A sound sounding like an E. So it was Iya coming from Tahuti, Enki. Enki, other name being Iya. Any correlation? This brother is good. This brother is good. This brother is a studier. Very, 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 very good. Let's break it down. And for those who are just coming in the room, people are sending in Cash Apps, PayPals for questions. I'm getting to as many of them as I can. This is done to help support me, my time, and what it takes to actually do this, and help support the mission of getting the information out. These are live random questions that I have absolutely no idea what is going to be asked. It's just random Cash App, no preparation, and I do my best to answer them on the spot. And I think that's what people appreciate. If I see a question that I've never heard of, I will say, never heard of that. I'd like to go get more clarity on the question. If it's a question I'm going to answer it in with a lot of clarity. Okay. Let me do something here, people. And let me see. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, is everybody ready? Are you ready? This is why the brother sends me such large donations, and he does it every class. And I think people who do this know that when I answer a question, it's not going to come from, I think Ia, maybe Enki, but it's not going to come from any of that. I'm going to give you chapter, verse, news article, scientific study, or archaeology, dates, something pertaining to what you can look up yourself. So I'm going to get back to the screen. And beautiful question. I'll read it again for everybody. And it says, when breaking down the name Yahweh, you mentioned there is no letter Y. And of course, for clarity, no letter Y in the Medu. It was an A sounding like an E. So it was Iya coming from Tahuti. Enki. Enki's other name being Iya. And this is what the brother's putting in here. Enki's other name being Iya. Is there any correlation? Absolutely. We must understand that when the Ptolemies came in, it's going to be a big breakdown. When the Ptolemies came into Kemet, they had access to the Kemetic stories and, of course, Ashur-banipal's stories, who had the largest library of Sumerian, as they call it, Sumerian Assyrian cuneiform tablets, the tablets of the Kiengis and the tablets of the Sugagi, Those are the tablets, or over 35,000 tablets. The Ptolemies had access to this because Darius defeated Ashurbanipal, and then Alexander came in, defeated Darius. They had access to the Kemetic library and Ashurbanipal's Sumerian library. So, of course, they knew about Enki, Enlil, the Igigi, which people are calling today the Anunnaki, and they had information on the Natiru, Asar, Ptah, and this is how they created their Bible. And this is why you cannot find any ancient books of the Bible that date back to the time of the so-called prophets. That's a shame that that the dates of the books don't date back to the time of the authors. So right now it's 2021. Let's say I have existed at least since the 80s. So if somebody says Tahuti wrote a book, the date of the book that they find has to exist between the 90s when I was able to write, or the late 80s when I was able to write, up until today. If they find a book and they say, this is Tahuti, remember Tahuti who did the PA class? We found his ancient book, we found it. And they say, oh, what is it date to? What is it date to? 2500 AD. Huh? Tahuti wasn't alive in 2500 AD. Tahuti's in the 2022. He didn't live 500 years. This is Tahuti's book, though. You must believe it. That's how crazy Hebrews and Christians sound when they're presenting you books saying, this is the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Ezekiel. This is the book. And I say, what is it date to? What's the date of it? And it's not the date of the author. If it's not the date of the author, then it's not written by the author. So let's get into the Enki and the Ea. Let's get into it. Okay. Okay, 1 second, everyone. 1 second, everyone. A sister would like to say something, and she would like to say support, Cash App, question, TT Amun. She is on the screen right there. Okay, so let's get into it. A little commercial break for everybody to support. So let's go. Let me get this off the screen here, and let's take a look at, because some people may be asking, what is the brother even talking about? What is he even talking about? Okay, so let me go ahead and correct this. Okay, boom. Okay, so this is from one of my unreleased books. I have many different notes and books and things that I've put out, and some that I have not put out, classes that I've taught. And I'm going to answer this question from information from 2006. So here we go. Let me go ahead and do a screen share for the brother Netter, and we're going to get into how Ea ties in to the Bible. Who is actually Enki, and why the Ea is also correlated with the Ea and the Yah of the Bible, because it's not just Tahuti, it's also Enki. So here we go. If you were to teach a being a language and you were to introduce yourself, because you were the first person, you would point to yourself, and you would say your name, such as Enki. So if you were to teach some new creatures a language and you were trying to get them to say who they were, you would point to yourself and say your name, and they would copy you like monkey see, monkey do. The new beings would imitate, point to themselves, and they would actually say the same thing. You would say Ea or Enki, which would be understood as I am Enki. Over time, pointing to yourself would refer to oneself as in I or I am. Thus, the term for I and the first two deities of the Sumerian pantheon are Anu, Ani, and Enki. These are actually words in Hebrew for I. Ani, which came from Anu, and Enki. which was the word for I, which came from the Sumerian gods. Thus we have in Genesis 3:10, Adam's first words for I. We have Genesis 7:14 says, Enki will cause the flood. Now here's what's interesting. If I don't have it here in the notes, I'm going to go to it live. I'm going to go to it live. And let's go to let's go to Blue Letter Bible. Let's check it out and see. Blue Letter Bible. And here we are in Blue Letter Bible, and we're going to go to boom. Genesis 7:4. Genesis 7:4. And let's see if we can find it in here. Let's go to Genesis. Type in Genesis 7. Genesis 7. Okay, so Enki in the Sumerian tablets is the god of the flood. He's the one that helped Atrahasis or Utanapishtim, different names that helped him build the boat. So we go to Genesis 4, to 7:4, and it says here in the Bible version, right? For 7 days I will cause it to rain upon the earth. For how many days? 40 days and 40 nights. Okay. We go to tools. And let's see if we can find it. And yes, 40 nights, 40 nights. Right? So here it is. And I. So who's the one talking? They say the God of the Bible. We have the word I, which in actuality was Enki in the Sumerian tablets, who was the first teacher of man. So we actually look at the words here, and we click on this, and what do we see here? I'm gonna wave my hands over the screen, over the word. Okay, this right here, the first letter, which is starting on the right, is the Hebrew letter, so-called Hebrew letter Aleph. This one right here is the Hebrew letter N. This is the Hebrew letter C, and this is the Hebrew letter I or Y, which would be Enki. You see this? They want to add these little symbols at the bottom to say Anoki, but in the ancient Hebrew, there was never found these little symbols here. It was just an I sound, I, and you know the letter L in the original Hebrew, as they say, made an I sound, which is why when you spell L as in Elohim or Israel, it's spelled with the same letter A. Israel actually doesn't have an E letter, it has an A letter. Same with L or Elohim. So this symbol here that they call an A or an Aleph had an I or an E sound before it had an A sound. So if we pronounce this word, who was the god of the flood, right in the Bible, it's the letter I, N, Ki, right here at the top. And they put below Onoki. No, it's not Onoki. There's no O in here. It's just A-N-K-Y or I. You know that the Y is synonymous with an I because whenever they say in English Israel, if you actually go to the Hebrew, it's Yisrael with an I. But if you walk up to a Hebrew Israelite, he'll tell you is an Israelite with the letter I. So the letter Y and the letter I are interchangeable. They make the same sound. So this is literally Enki. Enki. We go back to the Bible of the one who caused the flood, right? 40 days, and it is I. Let's go back to it over here. I will cause it to rain upon 40 days and 40 nights. So for some reason, the God of the Bible is associating himself with the number 40 and the flood. And in the Bible, the word for I there, which was the original God speaking, is Enki. A or E-N-K-I, which so happens to be the god of the flood in the Sumerian tablets, which came thousands of years before Genesis. Okay, so we go to over here, as we have learned, Enki, Lord of the Earth, is called Ea, and that's what the brother Netzer Unk was asking about, Ea, right? In the Akkadian, Middle East Semitic, that is to say the Babylonian tradition, Scholars have determined that Ea vocalizes Ea, Ea. So when Moses stood before the burning bush in the name of the God of the mountain, God really applied, say, I am who I am, Ea, Asher, Ea. Okay? So this is Ea, which is Enki, or Ea. So when they created these gods of the Bible, and the gods of the taking from different Sumerian and Nitiru, Kemetic gods, they're literally taking a bunch of other words that existed when Alexander the Great got there, and they just placed it inside the Bible. Now, when you look up the God, the one who caused the flood, you have God, and God. A lot of people don't know that God means water. God actually comes from gu, which means to pour out water. Here we are in the etymology, and we see supreme being, to pour out water, to pour, or a libation. God is from gu, which is to pour. So the gods of the Bible, or the reason they put the word God there, is they had it tie into water. A lot of people don't know that God actually comes from gu, which means to pour out, to overflow, to pour out, overflow with water. Okay, so now for the most amazing parallel, pardon the typos here, but the most amazing parallel, we have just gone over Ea, meaning water, right? And how the Hebrew came from an older language spoken by those who acknowledge Enki. What people don't know is that Enki had a ranking number. So in the Sumerian tablets of cuneiform, the Anunnaki had numbers which also represented them. Guess what Enki's number is? Enki, the god to save man from the flood, right, had a particular number. You go and look up the Anunnaki's number system, and you see Anu is 60, Enlil is 50, and look at Enki here. Look at Enki's Anunnaki number, 40. So long before there was a story of a flood that was 40 days and 40 nights, there was a god called the Lord of Water. By the way, that's what Ea means, right? The Lord of Ea, the Lord of Water, and his number was 40. They literally just took this and made it 40 days and 40 nights. As we can see, Enki is what number? 40. Now let us go back to the so-called Hebrew language and look up 40, and you may ask, what does it mean? Well, in ancient languages, letters had numerical equivalents. Remember, the Hebrew language that Hebrew Israelites and Christians are referring to, that is said their Bible is written in, is only 600 BC. There's no record of a Hebrew language, the one that they show in the Blue Letter Bible, going back to a time of Noah or Moses or any of these people. There's no writing in that type of script. It's only 600 BC. So that means that whoever created this language created it after the events happened, after after they came across the stories. And you may ask, what does it mean? The numerical value of the letter is a number. That means that each of the Hebrew, here's the Hebrew letters, and each of the Hebrew letters has a numerical equivalence. This is called gematria. Gematria, which is a Hebrew word, but it just means the measurement of something, because numbers were letters, letters were numbers, and both were measurements of things. So in the language of the so-called Hebrew, they wouldn't have a number 3. They would have the letter G, which was Gamal. 4 would be Dalat. 5 would be Hai. 6 would be Wow. Z would be 7 would be Zin. Now these keep on going on. Guess what 40 is? 40 is Mim. 40 is Mim. Okay? So 40 is Mim. So why is 40 Mim? So remember this story of Ea, the god of the water, the god of the flood, who saved man from the flood. His number is 40. When they copied it into the Bible, it gets placed in there as it will rain for 40 days and 40 nights. And they put there the word I will cause the flood. And the word there for I is literally Enki. Now you look up meme and you see its numerical value. See, you look up meme here, origins of meme. And when you look up the origins of meme, which is the number 40. Meme is usually assumed to come from the Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol for water. Water. Simplified by the Phoenicians and named after the word for water. So whether you accept these are the two sources that Alexander the Great and the Ptolemies had access to. The Phoenician area, because there was no such people called Phoenicians, but the Canaanite history, the cuneiform history, the people of that Saudi Arabian area, and the ancient Kemetic people. So when you go and research the meme is from is a hieroglyphic, is a Meduneder letter, and the Meduneder letter is the symbol of water. How coincidental. Thousands of years before the Bible is even thought of or written, we have meme, which is equivalent to the number 40 as a letter of a water symbol, that the flood comes for 40 days and 40 nights. The god of the flood is Enki, which means the god of water. And in Phoenician, the word for water is meme. Remember, the Phoenicians is where the Greeks acknowledge that they got their language from. That's why the language you speak when you teach your children, one of the means you can teach your children is a program called Hooked on Phonics. Phonics is from the word Phoenician. That's why when you talk on a telephone. Phone is from Phoenicians. Phonics, phonetics. Because they say that who taught them their language? They say a man named Cadman, who was a Phoenician. You see, so when you keep looking, you see that the word, that meme, right, is 40. You see that? Meme is 40. Even when you go to the Arabic. You see? So we're going to stop right there. Let me see if I can, when you go to Yah, because now they'll say, no, Yah is an ancient, Yah is an ancient deity. Yah is an ancient deity. Right? They say Yah was there, Yah or Yahweh was there first before Enki. Okay? Now, the oldest findings of a Yahweh or a Yah is right beside Alat on this vase right here. The earliest of El Yah inscription, late Bronze Age, was found on a beautiful ewer discovered on a rubbish heap of a temple of Lakash in 1934. A more recent article subject was a Bar September 1991, page 50 of Ruth Hestron's, titled Understanding Asherah. Who is Asherah? Ashtaroth, right? Who is Ashtaroth? Ashtaroth, Ishtar, one of the Igigi, or who people are calling today the Anunnaki, one of the ones who worked with and was the family member of Enki. Ea, from the same family bloodline of the Anunnaki, called Eshtarah, or Ishtaroth, or Ishtar. You see? So the oldest time you find Yah is right beside an Anunnaki's name. Right beside an Anunnaki's name, okay? And where does this go back to? 1220 BCE. 1220 BCE. The Atrahasis story of the flood, so by the scribe, the Sumerian scribe Ami Suduki, in cuneiform, the Sumerian scribe, that goes back to 1600 BC. The cuneiform tablets, some of them go back to 1900, 2000 BC. So that existed before there was an El Yah or any of these things, because they stole Enki, Enlil, the Anunnaki stories, placed them in their Bible, and created your modern day stories. But it goes back to 1250 BC, because Ea was the water deity. Ea, the name, literally means house of water, who was the master engineer, planner, supervised the construction of canals. That's why he was the water deity. The dikings, the river, the draining of the marshlands. He loved to go sailing in these waterways, and especially the marshlands. Okay, so when they were creating their original cities, Enki was the one responsible for the water areas. His name denoted his home. He built the great house in the city it found on the edge of the marshlands, appropriately named Ha-Aki, place of the water fishes, also known as Eridu, home of going afar. Another epithet of Ea was Lord of the Salt Waters, Seas, Oceans, or Lord of the Seas. Ea built ships, sailed far lands, especially places which are precious metals, semi-precious stones, were brought to Sumeria. Okay. So there is your Ea. So they took Ea from Tahuti and from Enki. And how does this tie in? Why both of those? Because they were both associated with the moon. That is what is this. That is what is the similarities between Enki and Tahuti. One of the major similarities is that the early Sumerian cylinder seal depicted Iati as a deity surrounded by flowing streams, were sometimes shown to contain fish. The sea associated with Ea with the moon indicated by the crescent. The association of stemming perhaps from the fact that the moon caused the tides of the seas, and it was no doubt in reference to such an astral image of Ea, given his many epithets, one being Nin Igi Ku, Lord of the bright eye, because the bright eye at nighttime was the moon. So he was a moon god associated with the moon, and Tahuti was also associated with the moon. When the Ptolemies found these stories, they combined them. Their names sounded the same, and they combined the stories of the Ea from the Nitiru and the Ea from the Anunnaki. Both moon gods merge into one, creates the Ea name of the Bible, and this is where you get the connection from. So, peace and love. Thank you for asking that question. And yes, there is a correlation, and that is the correlation. Peace, my brother. Let us move on to the next. I hope I answered your question and showed you the correlation. There it is. Boom. I didn't make any of this up. All that information existed thousands of years before I was born. I can't help it that it's there, and you can research it yourself. For all the Hebrews and Christians that get mad, it's just what it is. I'm so sorry, but that's just what it is. Okay, let us move on. And if anybody wants to disprove it, then I'm open to hear, and you must come with dates. Hebrews and Christians, their enemy is dates. Dates are the enemy of Hebrews and Christians. They hate dates because once you get into dates, you start to realize that the stories were in actuality copied stories. Okay, let me move this light here. Okay, one moment. Okay, that's good. Let me get back. So thank you for your support, Netter, and everybody else who is supporting. And we have Damich. Wow. Let me look in the chat room and see if the brother got all that. That was a lot of information right there. And yes, that is the correlation. Boom. So we got Heka Kepara says, appreciate that explanation. I appreciate you for appreciating me. This is that years of research. That's a lot of time research. So I'm assuming that the nets are. Oh, this answers if he got the answer. He put fire signs. So thank you, brother. You got there it is, the fire signs. Boom, wonderful. Let me see if I can fix something here with. Let me try to. Okay. Glad I could help with the answer to that. Naisha Champ says, fantastic information. Thank you, Naisha. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Everybody here is my motivation. Let me grab some agua. Everybody here is my motivation. Thanks to Ahati Ma'at for bringing me to the public. As you can see, the date on top of that information I put together in 2006. And a lot of these would just be for my personal students. And Ahati said, you must come with this to the public, man. Please let the public see this. So yes, I'm here to let the public see it. So you guys can go check it out yourself. Dates, archaeological findings, language breakdowns. You all have the ability to research it as well. Let me get the mic over here. Okay, so shout out to this brother or sister. This brother, this sister, Demich. Demich 7. Okay, Demich gives a huge supportive donation. One moment, everybody. I gotta get back to the screen. Shout out to you, Demich, who sends the biggest of the night, I believe. The biggest of the night, and it's not even a question. It is, let me see if I'm reading this right, $50. And what does this humbled person say? He says, thank you. Wish I had more to donate. Man, you gave the biggest donation and you wish you had more. Well, I appreciate that. And that is amazing. That is awesome. And there's not even a question. There's not even a question with it. So shout out to you, Damich. If you're in the room as Damich, say something so I can see that it's you. If you're on there as a different name, let me know that it's you. Much respect for this awesome donation again. Shout out again to the moderators. The moderators, for all those who want to ask a question on maybe upcoming events or something about the room, or get a website, a link, if you want to find my email, if you want to find things like that. These are the moderators. They're in the room under these names. Let me get Naisha's comment out so you can see the name. Boom. So it's Seneti Amun, fully as Seneti Amun. One name, Seneti Amun. Ani Ast Mur and Enki M Mayat. These are the moderators. Thanks to the brother Stranger for thanks to the brother Stranger for actually creating this terminology. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get that off the screen and go through the rest. Ask questions, seek ma'at. Okay, let me get back to here. So thank you, everybody, for the support there. And we are all about ancestral facts over religious opinions. Ancestral facts over religious opinions. Time is running out. Time is definitely running out. We have no time to waste at all. That's what my man here says. We have no time to waste at all. Time is running out. There's no time to play games with religion. It's all about getting factual information. Time is limited here on this planet. We have one chance here to get this right. Okay. So yes, we're gonna go back to the emails to see what Cash Apps, what PayPals were sent. Sacred Ptah. Let me go ahead and just give you a shout out. Sacred Ptah. Save. Sacred Ptah. I'll call you 7. Call you 7. Put you in the room. Shout out to the brother or sister, Sacred Ptah, who gave some support and had actually the question says Sacred Ptah, Sacred Path Records. I'm sorry for saying your name wrong. Sacred Path Records says, Question will be asked in the chat. Okay. So I will look in the chat. Moderators, if you see the name Sacred Path Records asking a question in the chat, please text it to me or email it to me so I can see it, because I don't see a question here. I just see that it will be asked in the chat. But shout out to you and respect to you once again for that large donation and large support. Thank you, Sacred Path Records. That's an awesome name. It's a great name. Okay, we're moving on. Oh, okay. So I'm hearing that MKD sent a PayPal but wasn't able to type something in the notes. MKD, if you're there, let me know which PayPal is you. I'm going through them all, and I don't know if MKD is Sacred Path Records. I'm not sure, but let me know who's who on here so I can do this in an organized fashion. And shout out to we'll call you 8. Shout out to Amber. Shout out to Amber. We'll call you 8. And shout out to you, Amber. Boom. For your support, Amber. Shout out to you. $10 from Amber. Appreciated the respect for the support. No question, just sending support. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everybody who wants to reach me also can reach me directly at Tahuti Brown on Facebook. I get hundreds and hundreds of messages. I try my best to get to everybody. I get new message requests. Sometimes the messages get pushed down to the bottom. If I don't answer you within a few days, send it again, because I literally get so many messages that I can't get to them all. But you can reach me at Tahuti Brown on Facebook. Let's get back to and moderators, please see if Sacred Path asked a question. Okay. So we got another one. Thank you for putting this. I want everybody to see this, please, because you have this as an option when you send support. And I'm going to show you what this brother Donkey did. And anybody who wants to do the same. If you're uncomfortable with your Cash App name or PayPal or anything like that popping up on the screen, you just want me to call you by your by whatever name is on the screen, then I will definitely respect that, and I will do it just like I'm about to do with brother Donkey here. Oh no, that's Amber. Sorry, brother Donkey here. Oh, so much going on. Okay, here we go, brother Donkey. So I'm gonna edit out his oh, it's already saved as 9. Yes. So you'll be 9, and there you are. And so he's just sending support. And the brother Donkey says in the message, just call me Donkey, please. So you would just be called Donkey, and the part with his other name above that, I've actually edited it out. I have respect for people's privacy if they request it. So yes, brother Donkey is brother Donkey. Thank you for your support, brother Donkey, who gave $10 support and wants me to call him Donkey. Thank you so much, brother Donkey. I've known Donkey since the Killer Priest pod class, and he's been around ever since. We have Rodrigo Alvarado. Rodrigo Alvarado And shout out to you, Rodrigo Alvarado. I'm just gonna put in what you donated here. Okay, shout out to you, Rodrigo Alvarado, for your very generous support and a very interesting number support. And his support is $20.70. Shout out to you, Rodrigo Alvarado. And apologize if I butchered your name at all. Okay, shout out to you, Rodrigo Alvarado. Moderators, have you seen what is it? Sacred Path Records. I'm gonna come back to the room. So much is going on. Sacred Path Records, are you in the room at all? Are you in the room at all? Sacred Path Records. I'm trying to get through everyone's supportive questions here. I'm scrolling through looking for, and Nani Aset Mur says, salute Demetri for the biggest donation so far tonight for Tahuti's podcast. Thank you, Nani Aset Mur, one of the Moderators. Let me see if I can find shout out to you, Donkey. Okay, I'm trying to get to the question, and whenever you come in Sacred Path Records and ask question, the moderators will find it. And Sanetia Moon says, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And your email, please. Is that to me? Is it from my email? If it is, then here is my email, mysticaltelevision@gmail.com. That is my email right there. I love these questions, everybody. Keep them pouring in. Is the brother Fibonacci in the room? There's a brother Fibonacci who said he sent a Cash App, I think, a class ago, and I didn't get a chance to get to it. If you're in the room, let me know. Moderators, let me know if you see a brother named Fibonacci. Something with Fibonacci in it.
God Fibonacci.
Yeah, the God Fibonacci. I'm trying to get to everyone here. I'm trying to be fair, trying to answer everyone as thoroughly as possible. I don't want to leave anyone out who sent their support. And I'm refreshing. And right now, as of now, I have no more Cash App or PayPal questions. So I'm trying to get to anyone that I missed.
Did you answer the question about the one that I sent?
No, I know. I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna
Okay.
get to that one because I just give a long breakdown. I'm gonna see how we're looking as far as time. Let me see something here. Okay. I'll go back to the chat. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to give everybody a shout out and see if there's any in my... Oh, Freedom. I just got a message from one of my awesome moderators. Sanetia Moon said Freedom Renaissance is Sacred Path Records. Okay. So let me look in the room for Freedom Renaissance. Oh, he says, yes, Netzer, I'm right here. Okay. Thank you. He says, so Freedom Renaissance is Saneti Amun. Thank you for that. Yes, type your question now with a Saneti Amun smile. Okay, I need when I see the question, I'll get to it. And let me get to there was a question that was actually sent. Okay, and Brother Killer Priest says, shout out, I'm watching. Shout out to you, Killer Priest. Let's set up something soon. They miss me on the pod craft. The pod craft says they miss me and they want to see me back on. I've been watching the Killer Priest podcast show and see a lot of different people on there. Shout out to Killer Priest for having the wide variety of so many different thoughts and builds and so many. Some are awesome, some are chaos, some are crazy, some are smart, some are informative, some are opinionated, but it's a whole conglomeration that gives it a good variety. And yes, Killer Priest, who just sent me a message, shout out to you. And whenever you want to set up, let's build, and I'll be there. I'm available on the Mondays. Shout out to the Killer Priest Pod Craft with the what do you call them? If I can remember, the Rocketeers and the Craftmen. It's been so long. I think that's it. The Rocketeers and the Craftmen, from my memory. I think he had the little section of people in the chat. And shout out to the Rocketeers and the Craftmen that are in this, that are here watching now, and who knows, Kill the Priest. Okay, so we got Freedom.
Some people that are interested in books want to know the cost. So, what do you want to tell them?
Some people are asking about books. Okay, wonderful. Let me get this off the screen. Sorry, everybody. Okay. Oh, actually, I'll keep it up on the screen for a moment. For those who want to know about the books, you can contact me here at mysticaltelevision@gmail.com. Just send me a message saying you want the information on how to order the books, or you can contact me directly at Tahuti Brown on Facebook. You can send me a message there and say you're interested in how to order the books. Very simple. One of those moderators, you can put the link for my Facebook channel in the room. That's where you can send me a direct message and ask me about book information and PDF information, and we'll get them right out to you. Okay, thank you for inquiring. And go ahead and send your information there. Now, we have Freedom's question here. Thank you, Freedom. Freedom's question here. I'm going to keep this in the room. I'm going to step away for just a second, and we're going to get to this question here. I shall be right back. are back. We are back. Okay. Oh, I'm looking gray. I am looking. Oh, there we go. Good, good, good. Okay, good. One of the moderators is going to add a comment back. There was an accidental misunderstanding, removal of a comment, and it's going to be put back in the chat. So apologies for that. It's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding of something, wrong thing removed. So it's put back. Okay, good. The numbers are going down. We got to get them back up. So let's go. Here's the question right here. Aside from the Kybalion and the book of coming forth by day. First of all, let me get a one if everybody can hear me. Let me get a one if everybody can hear me. 111. The numbers are going back up. Let's get them back up. I'm back. I just want to take a 3-minute break, and the numbers went down 15 people. I just wanted to take a break, everybody. I'm a one-man show. Press 1 if you can hear me, please. Press a 1 if you can hear me, please. Okay. 1 if you can hear me. Okay. So, yeah, there's a comment removed. Trying to be placed back. There's a little accident there. I think it was Jody, who we love in the chat. But there was accidentally deleted or retracted. Something happened, and we're trying to fix that. So if you see that, then just know that it was accident that's going to be fixed. But anyways, shout out to Jody and everybody in the room. Aside from the Kybalion and the book of coming forth by day, are you aware of any divine manuscripts or writings on the temple walls which predate the emerald tablets prior to 50,000 BC? This question, a lot of great information just within the question, a lot of great information in the question. The question is loaded with certain assumptions that we're gonna walk through, because some of the dates the dates are off. So we're gonna step through step by step. Aside from the Kybalion and the coming forth by day, so let's understand this. Coming forth by day, the oldest reference to it is Harry Dedef, is 1550 BC. 1550 BC is the oldest writing of the Per-em-Heru. The oldest writing that the Per-em-Heru originated from is the pyramid texts. The pyramid texts. The pyramids that the pyramid texts are in, date back to around 2400 BC. So we have 1550 BC and 2400 BC, and that is the oldest known spiritual writing that we have on the planet dated. So we don't have anything that predates, and then here's where here's where I must clarify. So we have that predate the emerald tablets. There are thousands and thousands of writings that predate the emerald tablets, because the emerald tablets are actually new. But what was put in the question was, in parentheses, prior to 50,000 BCE. So first you must understand that the emerald tablets, nor the Kybalion, nor the coming forth by day, nor any book on the planet, any writing on the planet dates back to 50,000 BC. Okay, so we have to do this step by step. So the emerald tablets don't date back to 50,000 BC, and neither do any other of these books, neither do any writing in any particular culture of any type of spiritual guidance. The oldest spiritual writing is the pyramid text, and that is 2400 BC. 50,000 BC, we have no spiritual writings, especially not the emerald tablets or any of these books that are mentioned here. There's actually nothing that goes back to that time. Let me see something here. One moment. But great question, though. Wonderful question, because a lot of people are under assumptive dates because the stories of what it's speaking about are so ancient that we think that the books themselves are ancient. Okay. So it's something that people wanted me to talk to the brother Billy Carson about and others about was about the emerald tablets. And the emerald tablets are actually pretty new. There's no actual ancient documentation of the emerald tablets at all. Let me see something here. Let me go into my let me go into before I screen share. I always want to show people things when I'm answering a question. But great question. I just want everybody to know that we go by ancestral artifacts over opinions. And I want to show everybody I'm putting some stuff up on the screen to show people some things right now. Here, just give me a moment. Here. Brotherhood of the White Temple. One moment. Let me Emerald. Alright, let me just put it right up on the screen for everyone to see. 1 second. I like to pull up the most accessible information that people can just look up on their own, and we're going to look at it together. This is just the basic information of the emerald tablets, which in actuality the oldest of it, emerald tablets, goes back CE 750 CE. Okay, and it was actually the oldest that they found of the emerald tablets in this time period is Astucas al-Asus or Alus, which is the Kitab. Kitab is the word for book, and it's the this is where it actually comes from. So it's attributed to a individual called Jabir ibn Hayyan, and it's in Arabic, which is a language that didn't come about until around 200 BC. Around 200 BC is when you have the Arabic language coming about, and the oldest emerald tablets that have been found are written in a language itself that only dates back 200 BC, around the time of the Ptolemies. So you don't find any ancient full Arabic that dates back to ancient Kemetic or Sumerian times, and we don't find any emerald tablets that date back to any of these times. What happens is people start adding conjecture because they hear the word Tahuti, and they hear the word Atlantean, and because they hear these words and all these Gaia websites and Gaia YouTube channels of people talking about this ancient lost city called Atlantis and the great god Thoth, and a lot of these are Greek inventions stolen from original Kemetic stories, romanticized, and then given back as if these were ancient records, when we actually can't find them. Okay, but if anybody wants to look at I actually use this in a debate, and I'm actually going to screen share this right now. Let me see if I can screen share this as we want to walk through this and actually answer just with facts. So everybody can see. This is an emerald tablets. The emerald tablets that actually used in a debate against a brother named Commission, because the emerald tablets inspired the Quran Circle 7 and other teachings that a lot of these modern day people believe in. So the emerald tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, right, by J.J. Rover, and translated and interpretation by Doriel. This is about one of the most popular ones, the literal translation interpretation of one of the most ancient and secrets of the great, Thoth the Atlantean. So the first step is that there was no ancient indigenous record of any place called Atlantis. This was actually a Greek invention. Outside of the Greeks writing about it, there's no indigenous culture that has any parallel of this story. The Europeans have to create these terminologies to give themselves history. So they steal ancient stories and then they create names for themselves. And what we're trying to do here is erase all of the copied, invented stories and just get back to the one thing that the Matrix hates, which I defend to death, and that is, what did the indigenous people of the land themselves write? Once we get into the indigenous people and what they wrote themselves, we will erase all of the emerald tablets and the Atlanteans of Thoth and all of these things, and just get into the Moderator script or the cuneiform Kyngian script, and all the ancient scripts that predated European invasions. And when we study a culture, we should only go to what that culture said about themselves. So there's no ancient culture that ever spoke about an emerald tablets, and there's no culture that actually spoke about any writing that goes back to 50,000 BC. But this is an awesome question. I love it because it shows that the person asking Renaissance, I think I'm saying that right, Freedom Renaissance, wants to dig deep and go back to the roots of things. So what I would advise, if you want to know about, want to get sources to ancient translations from temple walls and also from ancient papyruses, is to look up the literature. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put them on the screen for everybody. These are some of the literature books I read, which gives the papyrus number in the museum, the temple wall number, shows the temple walls, gives the dates of the temples, the dates of the papyrus, the dates of the cuneiform tablets, and I'm going to put them on the screen for you all to see, and you guys can go and get these books, which have the translations of these ancient stories, and it dates them. It dates them. I'm going to go here and give. So as far as let me okay. Let me go to Lit, and this is coming directly from my files. These are the books that some of the books that I read, and my family, my inner circle here, reads, and I will share you some of the literature I read and the sources that you can get for yourselves. Okay, so I'll put up that one on the screen. Whoops. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's an image of it. Okay, here's an image of the cover of one. And actually, everybody, I would suggest go and get this book, because a lot of the things I'll be teaching when asked about ancient Kemet, when somebody asks me for a reference of the story or the translation, I will actually be referring to this. So let me go ahead and put this on the screen. and this is one of them. This is the anthology, Literature of the Ancient Egyptians, Literature of Ancient Egypt, Anthology of Stories, Instructions. So it has instructions, papyri, stela, right? Autobiographies and poetry with their dates, their museum numbers, where you can find the originals, and translations and comparative translations, because there's different translators that were involved in the project. So this has some of your earliest literatures that are found along the Nile, none of which go back to 50,000 years, but these are some of your oldest that you will find. That is on the Kemetic side. On the other side, in the Saudi, what they call the Saudi Arabian area, or the Uruk area, or the area where Alexander the Great, Alexander the Greek, sourced his information from, are the records of Ashur Benepal, and I will give you that one as well. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen. And this is a great one. And I think this is actually put together by, I thought it was from the guy who came on Killer Priest, but it's, I think he just sourced it. Killer Priest actually has this book too. This is a great one though. Let me put this, go ahead and put this on the screen. Both of these are great sources for ancient cuneiform and Kemetic papyrus sources with dates and, here it is. Before the Muses, an anthology of Akkadian literature. This is a good one. This is a good one. This is very, very good. You can also find one called Discoveries at Nineveh. Discoveries at Nineveh, which is when Austin Henry Layard found over 25,000 tablets. Those two, start off with those two. There's ancient Assyrian myths. That's another one. But these two, and you should be fine with finding out the original stories from where the stories of Tahuti. Oh, and of course, Legends of the Gods by Wallace E. Budge. Legends of the Gods by Wallace E. Budge, which actually has the stories of the Natiru, the actual Kemetic stories of the real Thoth, who they call the Atlantean, who is the Kemetian. See, they call him an Atlantean. All the stories of Tahuti are from Kemet. They're trying to get him and shift him to another culture and cause confusion when the stories of Tahuti are Kemetic stories. There's not one story of Tahuti that came out of a place called Atlantis. There's nowhere in any of the stories where Tahuti ever said he was from Atlantis. Tahuti was from the time of Zep-Tepi and was from the area of the Nahisi, and it stated clearly, and it actually in the stories of Tahuti, the cities that Tahuti was in, it states the names of each of the cities and their Medu-Neter names, and none of them was Atlantis. But of course, people who want to use, it's all to cause chaos, to bring in some type of Greek authority. But in actuality, Tahuti stories are all out of Kemetic writings, and the cities are actually labeled by name in the Kemetic writings with the Nu symbol, which is a symbol for city, and actually gives the names of the cities that Tahuti and Ra were influencing and controlling. And none of them were Atlantis. His name was Tahuti, not Thoth, and there is no ancient emerald tablets that exist in anybody's culture. But those books, you can get the original tablets of both of those ancient cultures, and they all have dates which can be found in museums. Unfortunately, we have nothing that dates back to 50,000 BC in any kind of writing. You do have some cave images that date back in, but no, I know you're looking for writings and stories. No, there's nothing. But thank you so much for the question. Why is these things popping up? Thank you so much for the question, and I appreciate it. And go get those, and then when you look through those, send some questions based on what you find in there about Tahuti. Remember, Legends of the Gods. Legends of the Gods has a story of Tahuti and how he helped Set, and how Tahuti helped Ra, and how Tahuti's other name was Set, and why Tahuti has the baboon as a symbol, why Tahuti has the moon as a symbol. All of these are explained by the Kemetians themselves, so we don't have to add any conjecture to any of it. So thank you, brother. Thank you for the support, and thank you for the question. Okay, I'm gonna go and check again and see. This light is okay. I see two more, and we're gonna go through these two more, and then close it out. And the Netter brother, Unk, he sent two. He sent two cash apps. I went really long on his one question about the Enki one. I think maybe we'll start off the next class with his second one, because I am not going to have time to get into that elaborate question. I see it's about evolution and such. Okay, Killer Priest. Killer Priest is funny. Okay, let me Miller L. Shout outs to brother Miller L for the support. Let me go ahead and call you 11. Wait, am I on the right thing? So much going on here. Okay. Is this right? Yeah, February 11th. Shout out to Miller L for the support. Miller L. Let me go ahead and put you up on the screen. Thank you. That was a PayPal that came in. And I think this is you, Miller L. No, that's Steven. Wait. Oh. I don't know if Steven ever came in the room. I gotta get to him next week too. He asked a question about Buddha and Ptah. Let me go ahead and open. Oh, it's here. Here you go. Okay, shout out to you, Miller L Consultants. Shout out to you, brother, for the $5 support and donation. And we have another one came in. Stranger Sandoval. Oh, Stranger is Sandoval. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with everybody's names. I thought Sandoval was someone else. Maybe Stranger as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it up. Maybe he changed his name for posting purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. If this is Stranger, shout out to you, Stranger, again. Stranger with the support and Stranger with the creation of the name. Let me give him his due respect. Let me go ahead and put this on here. What did I call this? 12. We'll call you 12, Stranger. Stranger sent 5 Tahuti, consistently dropping bombs every Friday. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out, if this is Stranger, which should be. I thought Sandoval was someone else, but shout out to you, Stranger, for creating the moderators, that name, and shout out to you for respecting that. Yes, I'm doing my best to consistently drop bombs every Friday, which is really consistently just teach what I know as the truth. And who is Stranger talking about? He's talking about the moderators. The moderators. There you are. Boom. We have here Saneti Amun right here. Boom. Saneti Amun. We have Nani Aset Mur. And we have Enki Ma'at. And hopefully by next week I can have a Hati in there. YouTube would not allow me to add him. But these are the moderators. Shout out to Stranger and shout out to my awesome moderators who are doing an awesome job in the room and helping keeping things controlled. Okay, so shout out to you, moderators, and respect to all of you. Okay, we're gonna do one more browse through. One more browse through and see. Boom. And we may be able to end this clean. I know I'm going to get a bunch of Cash Apps and PayPals right as I end the show, but that's okay. We'll try to go through those next time. Did we ever find Fibonacci God's question in here? I'm sure he'll send me a message. I don't know if we got to, he said he sent me something, but we'll get to you, brother Fibonacci. So much, a lot going on, and I'm trying to keep track of everything here. One man show, trying to do my best here. So we're gonna look through and give a shout out before we close down. Oh, I remember this, brother. Shout out to Manifesto. Manifesto is another avid supporter. Shout out to you. And yes, Sanetia Moon says thank you everyone for the support. And shut up, Stranger Lowry. Shut up, Lowry. Clever name by this man right here. Stranger, thank him for the awesome name, moderators. Shout out to everybody. Godmind says, any upcoming debates? I'd love to see you and Zion Lex have a formal debate. Godmind, are you still in the room, my brother? Godmind, are you still in the room? Malcolm, are you still in the room? So he says, any upcoming debates? Supposed to be one with Mighty Hebrew. I picked we're supposed to have 3 judges. I picked one. And we're supposed to get together and talk about the other 2 and have that debate. I'll let him pick. I don't know. I'm becoming unmotivated to debate. I keep having these debates and winning the debates, and we'll see though. We'll see. I picked some. We're supposed to have 3 judges. I picked one, which is AD from the Killer Priest podcast, and we just have to pick another 2, and then boom. Once that happens, we do the debate. I've already picked one, and maybe if he has some ideas on another one, and then we'll come up with a third, and that's it. Other than that, I have no more debates coming up. So Godmind, are you in the room? Okay, Godmind, you said you'd love to see me and Zion have a formal debate. Godmind, do you know that me and Zion Lex had a formal debate already? Me and Zion Lex had a formal debate already. Are you familiar with that one? Are you familiar with that one? A lot of people don't know we had a formal debate, but we definitely had a formal debate. Moderators, if you can, find that link and put it in the room. If not, I got it right here. I can do it. If you have the link, Zion Lex and the formal debate that we had. Let me get back to the screen. So we had a formal debate already. Have you seen that, Godmind? Did you see me and Zion Lex's official debate? It was a crowd vote debate. It wasn't judges. It was a crowd vote debate. Okay. A crowd vote debate. Okay. Nanny Aset Mur says, "Thank you, stranger, for that clever name." The moderators. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the room. Here it is, right here. Whoops. What? Oh. Okay. Yes, you crushed him, but not a formal. They try to protect the roster. Oh yeah, good. Okay, so you've seen it. Yeah, so here it is right here. That is that's the debate with me and Zion Lex. It was a voted debate, and yes, the odds were definitely against me. They brought in help from a brother named Reggie, who actually apologized to me on the last Sonetter show I was on. I respect the brother because he apologized for me, because he jumped in the Zion Lex debate, and he jumped in the Jabari debate. In the Jabari debate, I actually debated three people. I debated Jabari's wife, and Reggie at the same time. With the Zion Lex debate, I was fortunate enough to only debate two people, Zion Lex and some assistance from brother Reggie. Both those debates, according to the crowd, I won, even though the brother Sonetter was a little upset and was very, not a little, he turned into Scarface. He was very upset when the crowd voted me the winner. He told the crowd they were crazy, because I came on there and beat two of his guys within a 5-day notice, 5 days away from each other. And that didn't look too good. Although Sonetter, for some reason, still calls Jabari the Floyd Mayweather. But I'm not too familiar with boxing or sports. I don't really follow that. But I looked up Floyd Mayweather, and I thought Floyd Mayweather was undefeated. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't really understand all the politics, but I thought Floyd Mayweather was an undefeated boxer. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, Jabari is called the Floyd Mayweather, even though I beat him according to the crowd vote. And Zion Lex, I beat him according to the crowd vote. The next debate we were going to have, he didn't show up for, whatever that may mean. Okay, so wonderful, everybody. We're going to give a shout out to everybody. Oh, yes, you did see it. You crushed him, but not a formal debate. They try to protect the roster. It was obvious. Yes, that's absolutely true. We have Manifesto saying I donated to the Cash app. And Manifesto, did you do that recently? Did I not give you a shout? Oh, shout out to shout out to Manifesto, Iman Champ. Shout out to Manifesto. I'm gonna put your Cash App clip on the screen and give you a shout out right now. It just popped up on my screen. We're gonna call you 13. Shout out, my brother. I'll pose a question here. Okay, let me go ahead and do the. Okay, so it came with a question. The Manifesto put a question on the screen and put a to match this Cash App. And I'll let this. Where is it? Okay. Shout out to Emanifesto. There you are. Boom. Imani, shout out to your $5 donation for the question. What is it? Question for the chat. So the question's in the chat. And when I go to the chat, I look for. Oh, thank you, Sanetia Moon. There's the Zion Lex Tahuti link. My moderators are on point. They are awesome. Okay, and question is, do the netchers actually exist as physical non-human entities? Emanifesto, did you ever see my debate with Jabari? Moderators, if you could put that link in the room. That is actually what my whole debate was on. Emanifesto, did you ever see? This is the same question in dispute for. Oh, so I guess he did see it. This is the same question in dispute. This is the same question in dispute Jabari debate. Okay, so you did see the question. Okay, so I'm going to answer it basically here because we are running out of time. I'm about to shut the show down. But for the thorough breakdown with the facts on how I beat Jabari, showing the netters, according to the Kemetic writings, were beings, just like they were physical. There were beings that were conscious entities that were in Kemet ruling. That's what the Kemetians said. That's how they logged them. They made it very clear. They logged them in a particular way, which I showed on the debate, a particular way which proved that they, beyond a shadow of a doubt, acknowledge that these were beings. And I showed that particular way in the debate. I would suggest everybody go to the link. If it's in the room, go to the link. Moderators, if you could put that in the room, the link with me and Jabari debate. We're running out of time, so I can't go through all the information again, but maybe next show we'll go through it. But that debate actually has all the information that I would actually present right here. And you can actually see it in debate form, where somebody who believes that they're not couldn't beat me in the topic, even with two helpers. His wife, who's supposed to read fluent Moderator, and Reggie. So with three people couldn't beat me on the debate because you can't debate. You can't use modern day conjecture to debate what a culture says about themselves. Once a culture says something about themselves, it doesn't matter what modern day people think. What all modern day people can do is say, well, I don't believe it. And you know what I say? Because Reggie told me straight up, he says, I don't believe the netters were real. And I say, that's not a problem. Whether your personal acceptance of anything is not a problem or has no influence in my life. If somebody asks me what the ancient Zulus taught or teach their people, or the Dogons, and I quote the Dogons, and somebody says, well, I don't believe in that, that's fine. I'm just telling you what the Dogons what the Dogons teach without me adding my personal thought to it. So yes, they definitely taught beyond a shadow of a doubt that their ancestors, which they literally called them their seed ancestors, were called netters. People think the netters are just Asar, Aset, Nebtet, Heru, Set, Ra, when in actuality, the majority of all the beings in Kemet that had power were all called netters. It was a common terminology used for a being of power. People want to separate and think that it's just a particular set. They always name the same ones. They say Osiris, Asar, Heru, Anpu. They always name like 20 of them. And I'm saying no. Ramesses, Ptah, all of them were called netters. All of them, all the ancient ones in the time of the Zep-Tepi and the last procession, and all the way up to Ramesses and even beyond. It was a term used for powerful people or anything that was powerful, symbolically powerful in symbolism, netters, physical beings on earth, netters. Both were called netters. And I try to tell Jabari, it's not either or. It's both. I'm not debating. People try to trap me and say, were the netters only physical? Weren't they also principles? No, there were principles that were called netters as well. They were both. Just like just like the word joy. Joy is something abstract that you cannot draw. You cannot feel the exact feeling of joy. You cannot draw joy. It's an actual theory principle that people use this word to describe a pleasure that they get, but the pleasure is not unanimous. So for example, I get joy loving my goddesses. I get joy watching my son play with snakes. I get joy. Is that joy a tangible thing that has one meaning? No. Because Ted Bundy got joy killing people. Is it the same principle joy? Yes. Do I get joy killing people? No. Is it the same word, joy? Yes. Do I know a woman named Joy that I can touch? Yes. You see? So they're common words that are used that when somebody from another culture comes in, Europeans try to come in and say, it is only this. Joy is only the woman that Tahuti knows that goes to the gym. And Tahuti's like, yeah, that's joy too. Joy is only what Charles Manson what the serial killers feel when they kill. Yes, that's joy too. Joy is what Bill Gates feels when he makes a lot of money. That's joy too. Joy is what Tahuti feels when he takes walks with his goddesses. That's joy too. It's all joy. You can't touch it. You can't draw it. But the one at the gym that I work out with, her name is Joy too. And you can touch her. Simple word, used for both a principle and a physical being. So were there principles that were netters? Yes. Were there physical beings that were netters? Yes. Because those same words that are used for the netters also describe aspects of nature, used in common sentences in your regular daily Kemetic life. All right. Thank you, brother. We're going to close out with that. Let me check and see if there's any more. Oh, of course. We can't close the show without the Black Ulard. I was wondering and waiting. Where is Black Ulard? There's no show where Black's Alucard, I can't say his, Black's Alucard, which is Dracula backwards. There's absolutely no show where this brother does not donate. So I'm going to put him and end the show with him. Let me go ahead and put him on the screen. Black's Alucard, Dracula backwards. Okay, here we go. Black's Alucard. And thank you, Amani, for the question. Awesome question again. And Netter, I'm going to get to yours next week. It's a little thorough breakdown. And Steve, I didn't see you in the show, but I want you in the show because I want to break down. I want to answer your question about Buddha being taken. Where am I? Buddha being taken from Ptah. Shout out to Black's Black's Alucard, which is Dracula. And I don't even know if the XALB is backwards too. Maybe it's just Black Dracula. Shout out to you, my brother. You always come through. Thank you for the support again. And thank you for everybody. Thank you for everybody. Thank everybody for supporting. You guys are always awesome. Shout out. Let's give the final shout outs. Shout out to Jody Southworth. Sorry, Jody, for the little confusion there. I think your comment was hidden or removed or something. We figured it out. A little mix up there. Shout out to you. Shout out to Stranger. Castlevania. Do you remember that game? Castlevania. Shout out to Stranger. Shout out to you, Stranger. Shout out to Ahati Ma'at. Ahati Ma'at. Shout out and respect to you. Shout out to another one who's always here. F.U. Bill Gates. Have a great night, F.U. Bill Gates. Master K. Bug Joy. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to you, God Mine, who says he walked Jabari through the meaning first, showed it to him. What was written had nothing to do with our beliefs or perception. It was a dope tactics. Thank you, brother. Thank you. We today have the right to believe in whatever we want to. We cannot superimpose our beliefs on what this woman believed in, what this woman taught, or what was written about her. We can just have our beliefs of today. Okay? And shout out to Awesome. I didn't have any close connections, but I'll try to reach out. Shout out to Dopewell, who says, would you debate an Orthodox Sunni Muslim? Would I debate? I have debated several. I used to set up my class live in Toronto, Canada, Falstaff Community Center, which was a Jamaican, Rastafarian, and Islamic community area in front of 3 buildings full of Sunni Muslims, and I would just take my chairs with my students on the grass in front of the buildings and set up chairs right there and bring a chalkboard live and break down Islam and questions right in front of them. They would walk out of their building, hijab on, the jalabiyah, the white garb. What is this? What is astaghfirullah? Astaghfirullah. And come sit down in class. And I remember one time, which I have on video, 3 brothers came in to fight, to battle. They sat down, and only 2 left. The one brother would not leave my class. I'm not leaving. I need to know more. I need to know more. So I've converted Sunni Muslims on the spot. I've debated Sunni Muslims. And yes, I am open to talk to more Sunni Muslims. And that was back in 1995. So yes, I'm open to talk to everybody. So would I debate an Orthodox Sunni Muslim? Maybe someone with a lot of followers? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'll talk to everybody. Everybody is invited to have a conversation. I just want to clarify, I do not do the challenging. I have never challenged anyone to a debate in my life. I just get challenged and accept the challenge, but I'm not walking around here looking for, see that guy? I want to debate him. Somebody kept saying to me, hey, why don't you debate Brother Sanchez? Why don't you debate this guy? Why don't you debate? And I'm like, if it's posed, if Sonetta or somebody's Killer Priest, somebody wants to set it up, I'm not going to go looking for these people. I don't look for debates, but if a Sunni Muslim comes and wants to challenge and set it up, yeah, I'll have a great conversation with a Sunni Muslim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. And all the good stuff. Okay, shout out to Sanetia Moon, who put up the Jabari and Tahuti debate link. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the room. Shout out to Tree Arts, who says, hey there, Tahuti. Hey there, Tree Arts. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to, of course, we're going to end with shouting out the moderators. Let me go back. Shout out the moderators. Oh, shout out to the moderators: Enki M. Mayat, Nani Aset Mur, Saneti Amun. Everybody, that is one word. So if you're typing to her, it is Saneti Amun, one word, not any of the words, but it's all one word. Nani Aset Mur, all one word. Enki M. Mayat, all, well, they're different words, but they're all together. Okay, shout out to everybody. You guys are all great and wonderful. And, of course, the moderator, Hati Ma'at, who will hopefully we can figure this out on YouTube and have him in there next week. Shout out to Ka, who's showing up strange on the green screen because I guess he's yellow and he's showing up kind of partly see-through. But there is Ka. Yeah, he must have some green in him because he's showing up as a see-through ghost, see-through snake. All right. Let me go ahead and what's that? Oh, okay. Shout out to Ka. This is one of my goddesses. See-through. Look at that. One of my goddesses' snakes here. Ka, named after the spirit. Very docile, calm python who came out yellow and lavender, kind of purple. And there he is in the screen. Boom. All right. Shout out to everybody. Respect, peace, and love. Let me get the banners right here. That is the email for those who want to email me questions or anything. This is the for those who watch the show later. It's never too late to send a donation, to send a cash app. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you can continue to send support. You don't have to be live. Some people send me questions in before I even start the show. A brother from South Africa sent one in on circumcision. I didn't get a chance to get around to that, and I didn't see him in the room. I don't. He says on a different time period. He says he may not be able to make the room, or he can't make it because day is night over there. So we'll get to you next time, my good brother. That is the PayPal. Everybody support. There is Ka again. Let me stretch him out. Boom. Boom. All right, Ka, there you are. That'll probably be the thumbnail. Okay. Peace and love, everyone. Again, shout out to the moderator. Shout out to Jody. Shout out to Master K. Shout out to, this is great chat with great questions. Thank you for the support. Shout out to the moderator, Nani Aset. Shout out to Sanetia Moon. Shout out to Anke Mayat. Shout out to Ahati Ma'at. Everybody that enjoyed the room. Godmind, Dope Well, who I've never seen before, but thank you for coming. Sanetia Moon says peace. That's right. Peace. Please share, subscribe, hit the notification button. I have another moderator here who is my invisible moderator. Let me get her in here. She is here she is right here. Boom. Support with the Cash App. She is the support moderator. Follow her. She has her finger pointing up. Support with the Cash App. TT Amun. All right. And don't worry, it's never too late. It's never too late to support. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the class. Thank you, everybody, for asking. I need to give shout out to Deadbeat Void. Deadbeat Void is also a consistent participator. Shout out to everyone. Peace and love. We went 3 hours and 45 minutes. I hope everybody got their questions answered. For those who did not, we will do our best to get to them when we can. Much love and respect. For those who came to the Tahuti Pod class, we had up to 120 watching at once. We are about ancestral artifacts over religious opinion. Bring all to the room. Bring all are invited. There will be no disrespect, only conscious conversation, reasoning. Bring everyone to the room. We will chat. We will talk. I will do my best. This is my personal gift. My personal gift is my gift to you. I have a gift of deciphering information at a rapid speed, and I'm placed in a position where I can absorb information thoroughly without much distractions in my life. And my gift to everyone is to share it and get everyone out of this matrix, and to help people become a better version of themselves by taking the information, breaking the matrix, and then striving for their goals. And if they want to strive with a goal with me, they can contact me, and we can set up personal missions on how to become better as a group effort. If you have individual missions, I support those, and I help people become better in their individual missions, group missions, organization missions, whatever it may be. The more you know, the broader your perspective is, and the better you can make decisions without the matrix. Peace and love, everyone. We're going to close out with the Tahuti animation, and I'm glad everybody came and supported. Peace and love. Let me do this here. That's the Cash App. That is the email over there. And let us let me put this. Sorry, there's so much going on. Boom. And let me go ahead and close out. Peace and love, everyone. Until next time. Say peace, Ka. Peace. Peace to everybody. And peace to all those watching. Even if you, Young Cobra, are watching somewhere, if you sleep, peace to you who's watching through someone else. Peace and love.